it. There is no other way to get him to call it. You have to wait for the convention to remove him.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Except the president wants to do the extraordinary, which is to ask him to resign.
Okay, well, Biodun Sowunmi is a political analyst. Thank you very much for speaking with us.
It's my pleasure.
Moving on, Godwin Obaseki of Edo State on Wednesday presented a budget of 177 billion naira for 2020 to the State House of Assembly for approval. The budget is 3.34% higher than the 2019 figure of 175 billion naira. It has 85 billion naira recurrent expenditure and 92 billion naira capital expenditure. He said the budget was to consolidate and complete all ongoing projects in the state. Some of the allocations in the budget include 3 billion naira for hosting of National Sports Festival and Female Under-20 World Cup, the 8 billion naira for development of colleges and education campuses in Afuze and Abudu, as well as extending Edo Best to junior secondary schools across the state, while primary healthcare reforms got 1 billion naira. On workers' welfare, the governor said there would be an expected increase in personnel costs due to the implementation of the new minimum wage. According to the governor, he said government will not undertake new projects in 2020. Akwa Ibom State Governor Udom Emmanuel has stressed the need for youth to make use of opportunities to better their lives by embracing knowledge. Governor Emmanuel made the assertion at the 4th and 5th combined convocation ceremony of Akwa Ibom State University, ASCU, at the main campus, Ikorakbandem, local government area. Visiting the university, Governor Udom Emmanuel was happy at the quality of teaching and learning at the institution and commended the management and staff of the institution, while charging graduates to be innovative in order to stand out in the current highly competitive world.
This 4th and 5th graduation class, don't look up only to government for jobs. Look into yourself and see what creative energies or skills. It is fiercely competitive, and it's only the brave, the innovative, and those imbued with the spirit of drive and dare that will luxuriate in its endless possibilities.
I've changed the narratives of the university and actualized its core values of accountability, transparency, innovation, excellence, equal opportunity, integrity, and cooperation, among others.
Governor Udom has remained very committed in offering the university the needed input for it to function optimally.
I feel excited. I feel blessed as the best graduating student, VC's prize, Ministry of Education prize, and also best graduating student in the faculty. And I'm grateful to God Almighty for His benevolence to us.
What I could not achieve when I was on my feet, I have achieved that.
I feel so good today. It's not been easy, but with God and my parents.
Still ahead on Plus TV Africa News, unknown gunmen kill 6 farmers in Tanzania's southern border with Mozambique. These and more when we return. Unknown gunmen killed 6 farmers near Tanzania's southern border with Mozambique, a senior police official said on Wednesday, amid growing concerns over Islamist militants in a poor region where foreign companies are developing gas deposits. The ambush on Tuesday night on an island in Ruvuma River that forms the border between the two countries is the latest in the spate of execution-style attacks in the area since 2017 that have so far killed more than 100 people. The gas deposits are in the northern Mozambican province, Cabo Delgado, and researchers have found that the militants who are based there and launch attacks on both sides of the border have links to Islamist groups in Tanzania, Somalia, Kenya, and the Great Lakes region, where some also have received training. Tunisia's new parliament opened on Wednesday with a session to elect a speaker, a task likely to prove difficult in a deeply divided chamber, but which will provide insight to wider efforts to form a government. The moderate Islamist Ennahda came first in last month's election, but took only 52 of 217 seats, forcing it to compromise to win majority support for its preferred speaker and prime minister. However, the efforts to build a coalition will with several rival parties have so far come to nothing, and Tunisia continues with caretaker government under the existing Prime Minister Youssef Chahed. Wednesday's election for Speaker represents a big test for Ennahda, which was banned before Tunisia's 2011 revolution, but has since played a big role in several coalition governments. It has nominated its veteran leader, Rachid Ghannouchi, who ran for elected office for the first time in last month's vote, but he faces competition from two rival politicians. Namibia's Justice and Fisheries Ministers resigned on Wednesday over bribery claims involving Icelandic fishing firm Samherji, local media reported on Wednesday. Justice Minister Sakius Shangala and Fisheries and Marine Resources Minister Bernhard Iso resigned from cabinet following a media report they awarded horse mackerel quotas to Iceland's biggest fishing firm in exchange for bribes. Up next is our business news.
Open accounts. The Get a Lot in Millions promo is back again, and this time it's bigger, better, and life-changing. Save your way to millions faster than you think. Open any Fidelity account with 20,000 naira, or top up your existing account with 10,000 naira, and stand a chance to win a whopping 1 million or 2 million in our monthly draws. That's not even all. Listen, there's more. Guess what? Open an account with 50,000 naira, or top up an existing savings account with 50,000 naira, and you could win 3 million naira. Fidelity Bank definitely did not come to play at all. Maintain an average balance of 200,000 naira, and you could win the grand prize of 10 million naira. I'm now a millionaire. I love Fidelity. You too can save your way to millions. Hurry to any Fidelity Bank and start saving today, or simply scan the QR code on all promotional items to open an account and participate. Many consolation prizes and weekly cash prizes up for grabs.
We are Fidelity. We keep our word.
A lot of the jobs that exist today will not exist in the next 10 years.
When I see people today shouting, we're not too young to run, we are ready to run. Ready to run to where?
The people of excellence are, to a certain extent, being held ransom by idiots and bandits.
Once you are in government, you believe everything you do is right. And once you are in opposition, everything the government does is wrong.
And so it's time for us to take over power.
And on the foreign scene, a crash between a truck and passenger bus killed 12 people, injured 17 in West Slovakia on Wednesday. In the Central European country's deadliest road accident in a decade, Slovak Fire and Rescue Services has said. The accident occurred in rainy weather on a winding two-lane road near the city of Nica, 90 kilometers, 56 miles east of the capital's Bratislava. No details were immediately available to the press on casualties, which company operated on the bus, or what may have caused the accident. Commercial broadcaster Marquise reported that the bus was carrying mostly high school students and it was struck on its side by the truck before it crashed into a ditch alongside the road. Several people remained trapped in the bus after the crash, police said. Prime Minister Peter Pellegrini said in a statement he would end an official visit to Cyprus one day earlier to return to Slovakia and visit the site of the accident. Israeli airstrikes killed 13 Palestinians in Gaza on Wednesday, raising the Palestinian death toll to over 23 over a two-day escalation in violence since Israel launched strikes to kill an Islamic Jihad commander. From early morning, Gaza's militants fired rockets into Israel, and the military struck from the air, resuming after an overnight lull. There were reports of injuries, but no deaths inside Israel, where the military said it shot many of the rockets down with air defenses. The bodies of 6 people were brought to Gaza's Shifa's hospital in taxis and ambulances early on Wednesday as relatives wept and screamed. Medics and witnesses said they were civilians who lived in densely populated neighborhoods. The Israeli military has said that it had struck at least 5 rocket squads on Wednesday morning. Other targets including a rocket warhead manufacturing facility, an Islamic Jihad headquarters and weapons storage site. Islamic Jihad confirmed that 2 of its militants were killed in separate strikes. Prime Minister Boris Johnson will promise on Wednesday to get Britain out of Brexit rot if he wins in December. A December 12 election, saying the world is baffled by why the country is so hesitant about its future. On a campaign trip to central England, Johnson will reiterate that he can break the deadlock over Britain's departure from the European Union. The election was called to end 3 years of disagreement over Brexit that has sapped investors' faith in the stability of the world's 5th largest economy and damaged Britain's standing since it voted in a 2016 referendum to leave the EU. Up next, the International Monetary Fund revised up Rwanda's 2019 growth forecast to 8.5% from its previous projection of 7.8%. And that is our business news right after this break. The IMF on Wednesday revised up its growth forecast for Rwanda this year to 8.5% from its previous projection of 7.8%, crediting strong growth in the first half of the year and new public and private investments in construction. The International Monetary Fund's Laura Rediffer, speaking at the news conference at the end of a 2-week mission she led, said the Rwandan economy grew at more than 10% in the first half of 2019. She said all leading indications show a continued growth, citing big construction projects, increased private borrowing and increased activity in the tourism and transport sectors. The chief economist of Rwanda's central bank, Thomas Kigabo, said tourism revenues were $380 million in 2018 and the government projects revenues of $405 million this year. President Paul Kagame, in office since 2000, has won international praise for overseeing a peaceful and rapid economic recovery of the country since the 1994 genocide. And still ahead on Plus TV Africa News is our roundup on entertainment and sports news. We will be back in a moment.
It for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Buki November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
The Africa Magic Viewers' Choice Award is scheduled for March 2020. As a result of this, the AMVCA, in association with MultiChoice Nigeria, has called for film submission ahead of the 7th edition of the Movie Awards. The organisers have announced that the entries are now being accepted from November 13, 2019 to December 13, 2019. The AMVCA is one of Africa's most prestigious awards show, and the last edition was held at the Eko Convention Centre with Jade Osiberu, Omotola Jalade, Akende, Bisola Ayola, Odunlade Adekola, to mention a few, being one of the biggest winners. Well, that's it on entertainment. The very best in sports comes right after this. Super Eagles of Nigeria kicked off their race to qualify the 2021 Africa Cup of Nations Championship in Cameroon with a win against the Squirrels of Benin Republic. Sessagonon scored the first goal of Benin in the 3rd minute, but Lille striker Victor Osimhen pulled one back for Nigeria from the penalty spot in the dying moments of the first half. Samuel Kalu scored from a brilliant effort in the 63rd minute to give Nigeria the lead. Ahmed Musa came in for Victor Osimhen towards the end of the match. Former Arsenal manager Arsene Wenger is returning to the game as FIFA's new chief of global football development. The former Arsenal manager accepted FIFA's offer more than 2 months after it was first reported, and 1 week after he was approached by Bayern Munich about the German champion's vacant head coach job. He will oversee the rules-making panel known as IFAB, coaching programs and technical analysis of games at FIFA tournaments. The 70-year-old Frenchman effectively replaces Marco van Basten, who was FIFA's technical director until October 2018. And that's our news roundup of events at this hour. For more news updates, please follow us at Plus TV Africa on Facebook, Twitter and on Instagram. And do subscribe to our YouTube channel at Plus TV Africa. We will be back later with more stories making the headlines. Do join us then, and do have a great day.
Welcome to Ladies Talking Business on Plus TV Africa. Our guest on today's episode is Tracy Nwapa. Tracy is the owner and creative director of Interior Culture by Obiageli. Tracy, welcome to the studio.
Thank you so much for having me. Fantastic studio, by the way.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I mean, we've waited so long to have you in the studio. Thank you so much for making out time to join us here.
Thank you. I apologize for all the,
okay.
Thank
you. Tracy always wants to change her room space every 5 minutes. What brought about the transitioning from TV to interior design?
It's a long story, but I put this on, your purpose in life. And sometimes to get to our purpose, we have to go through a journey. And as we travel through this journey of life, you discover your purpose. From childhood, I've always had a natural flair for interior design. I used to change my room, like you said, like from when I was a little girl. And I decided at some point, I said I was going to be an architect because my dad's a civil engineer, and I come from a family of builders. My dad's a civil engineer, my uncle's an architect. And I just always had that flair. But I'll tell you a secret. Well, it's not a secret anymore. When I went into college, university in the United States, I had to study architecture. You have to be really good at math, and I am so horrible at math. So I was forced to study interior design as a minor, and I took on broadcast journalism, which is the next best thing, as my major. So obviously, being that I studied broadcast journalism, that has to do with being on TV. So when I came back to Nigeria, I was pursuing a career in broadcast journalism, and when I did my NYSC, I was supposed to serve at NTA, so I, got a little bit of experience. I worked at NN24 and various other TV networks. Down the line, everything was just not working out. Like every time I would start something or go for auditions, I never got it. Like people just think, oh, Tracy just appeared, So I started producing my own show, and I guess I wasn't as passionate because it was just tedious, and I wasn't passionate enough to push. And through that, my brother actually, because I used to do my house all the time, I'll help my mom, even as a young adult. And my dad, in my brother's company at the time, they were looking for interior designers to renovate their office space. And this was back in 2013. And he was like, Tracy, I think you should apply. I think you should do it. And I was like, are they going to choose me? I'm not really a certified interior designer. And it was like a big job it was an oil company. And I was like, you know what, let me try. So I did a 3D, went over there, and I got the job out of 3 people bidding. So when I did that, I was like, wow, I really like this. And it was good money. And I enjoyed like just creating a space like from nothing to something. And I was just like, you know what, this is what I want to do. So that was where I transitioned from, you know, being a broadcast journalist to, or being on TV to being a full-time interior designer.
Yeah, and I liked what you said about the fact that at the end of the day, what drives you is passion in whatever it is you're doing.
Exactly.
Because no matter how strong you are personally, I feel like your passion, even in your times of weakness, you find strength from your passion. So it's very important to do what it is you really love to do. Now, when it comes to interior design and interior decoration, people tend to confuse both. Help us understand it.
Okay, so in my opinion, and I think this is the general knowledge, interior designers actually like design the space, so they design spaces. You have nothing in a space, you put it together, all the, you know, from the ceilings to the floor, so everything that has to do with the interior of a space. So deciding what goes where, managing the space, the color, lines, textures, all of that. That's what an interior designer does. And then even furniture as well, lighting, flooring, you know, window treatment. But then interior decorator, I think, enhances what an interior designer does, so mostly with soft furnishings. So an interior designer or an interior architect can create a space and, you know, give you all the visuals, but the interior decorator comes and like accessorizes the space with soft furnishings. So it could be with drapes or pillows or accessories, rugs, stuff to just enhance the space. Exactly. But interior designer also does the job of an interior decorator, but an interior decorator doesn't really do all that an interior designer does.
They won't have to draw 3Ds.
Anyone can do a 3D. It doesn't matter. But just, I think the interior designer's main role is to take care of the entire space. So from start to finish. But interior decorator enhances what the interior designer does. So sometimes if you have an architect who is just an architect, who does like the entire space, like from the floors to the ceiling, has a rug or has a sofa, you know, a lighting, a cabinet, an interior decorator will come in and be like, okay, we're going to put a coffee table with these accessories on it. We're going to put these accessories on the on the credenza or a nightstand. So that's the interior decorator pretty much enhances the space.
So basically, how would you describe the interior design market in Nigeria?
It's definitely growing, but it's also getting a little bit saturated, which is a good thing because it then forces everyone to kind of compete, and healthy competition though. When I started, there were not half as many interior designers or half as many people doing, you know, on a more international scale. But it's a growing market. We're not there, you know, we're not there yet where we're standardizing, you know, but we're not quite there, but we're getting there.
And do you see a lot of collaborations being done in that space?
There are collaborations. I mean, with the help of the Interior Design Association of Nigeria, IDEN, and Made by Design, these are some, you know, they are organizations for interior designers to come in and collaborate, share ideas, just being part of an organization so you don't feel left out. You can have a mentor who would, you know, advise you on how to grow or how to grow your business, how to start your business. It's also a support thing. And if I'm so busy right now and I can't take on like a lot of jobs, I can call, you know, a colleague and say, you know, here, can you handle this project? I trust you enough to do this. So it is a nice community for interior designers. So yeah, there are collaborations, you know, people do collaborations. And you know, not everyone can do everything. There's specialization. So like someone can specialize in just doing floors and window treatments. Someone can specialize in just sanitary ware. So in this community, everyone kind of knows where they fit, and I can order accessories from a company. That's a collaboration. I can order, you know, rugs or, you know, what have you, artwork from another company. That's a collaboration. So yeah,
what
we're
are
definitely
the other areas that people can get into aside from floors and
ceilings? It's vast, you know. Some people only do furniture production. So you just send a picture of what you want and then they will produce it for you. Some people do in the design. So my company, we do everything. So we take a turnkey project, we do it from start to finish. And obviously I I have to work with vendors. I have to work with, I don't sell sanitary ware, for instance, so I have to work with a vendor who would supply me, you know. So there are loads of things that, you know, you can get into. It could be wall finishing, it could be flooring, rugs, accessories, lighting, window treatments, marble, glass, woodwork, you know, handles. Some people even, and now things are easy to find. It was much harder when I started. Now you can see a vendor who only supplies handles, like drawer handles and, you know, hardware. You can now find people who only supply like fabric for drapes, lighting. You know, the industry is definitely getting better. There's now a need for people to actually do these things so we can have access to them. The problem back then was the access. Almost everything had to be imported. So even though people are importing it, they've now bridged the gap between me as an interior designer having to order from outside the country. So those people who are now vendors for these items sort out all of that, and they have it here presently, and then we can order directly from them.
But from your area of specialization, I know that you do everything in your company. Did you start off like that? And if, as a newcomer, would you suggest that I also start off doing everything, or I should just create a niche market for myself?
You see, when I started, it was kind of different. So I kind of had to do everything. I still do everything now. But for someone who is starting out now, you have to go with what you're good at, you know, your strengths. So if you want to do everything, fine. It's kind of difficult to do everything because it's a lot of things to source. But you can do everything, or you can decide that, you know, I want to just focus on kitchens, or I want to focus on just bathrooms, or whatever your strengths are and where your passion, you know, lies. That's where you should follow. But you can decide to create a niche for yourself. I know people who only do fabrics that they've tie-dyed, and that's all they do. And I know people who do full spaces. I think it's not so much finding a niche for yourself, it's more finding your own style. You know, so you're not ending up just copying inspiration pictures online, and you know, you're finding your own style, your own. So people, because I feel like my style,
should be unique.
Yeah, it should be. I have a signature. So even though creating the same design, and we're theme designers, so we can do anything. We could be Afrocentric, we could be minimalist, we could be contemporary, transitional contemporary. It doesn't matter, but there's still a signature stamp that people will be like, this is icy. You know, this is interior culture. So that is important, you know, finding yourself, as opposed to so that you don't look like, it's just like, you know, your sister is an interior designer, a fashion designer. She has she has a style. So I see some clothes that she makes and I've worn certain times, and I would know automatically now, just based on working with her, that this is Karen Ubani. You know what I mean? So it's more so finding your own style, and yeah, then that can now transcend to your niche as well.
Okay, I like the fact that this has been explained. Taking a look at the Nigerian interior design space and juxtaposing it with a Cape Town, for example, known as the design capital of the world now. In terms of scale of operation, you can see that massive gap. Don't you think we should be doing a lot more in Nigeria?
Yes, I mean, of course, we should be doing a lot more, but it takes time. I think we're headed in the right direction. Like I said, in 2013, 2014, we didn't have everything that we have now. But look, it's been, what, 7 years, and we have more now. So give it another, Cape Town wasn't built overnight. You know, and now I think we are now understanding that there's a need. I think people didn't care before how their spaces looked. It was a Nigerian thing where, you know, you build a house, you just put your chair, you put your table, you put your fan, but now people are trying to pay attention. They want the detail. They want the detail. They want a nice space. Even stores now, hair stores or commercial stores, they now understand the importance of an aesthetically pleasing environment. Back then, people didn't care. People just wanted to just do the bare minimum. But with the help of social media and the internet and just being connected to the world through social media, I think people are now realizing that it is important. It's not enough to just sell amazing food. The space has to pull you in, because you're pulled in by the space. So if the space,
take good pictures,
exactly. So you're pulled in by the space. That adds to the experience before you can enjoy the meal, or, you know. So I think people are now realizing the importance, and because of that, a gap. You know, there's this opportunity that has been created for people like me to excel in the industry. So with that being said, I think as time goes on, we'll keep growing, and before you know, we'll get to the standard or the level of, you know, Cape Town being the design capital.
I think one of the spaces in my head now is tea room, for example.
Okay.
You go in there, you know that, oh my goodness, I can take good pictures while having a very nice meal, right?
Exactly.
All right, so we're going to take a quick break now. We'll take a quick break and still watching Ladies Talking Business on Plus TV Africa.
Welcome to Tea Time on Plus TV Africa, where we bring you the biggest entertainment stories and, of course, analyze them for you.
You can have both parents and still end up as a useless child. I see them every day.
Most times I worry more about where I'm coming from and where I am now, and that determines my next step.
Why are you sounding like
Alibaba
now?
Plus TV Africa, we're feeling good. No time to dull, everybody feeling alright.
Make music and people are still buying. Sometimes I look myself minimal IO.
Akpala music is for mature-minded people. I got DMs sometimes from Malawi, like,
sleeping early.
This is it for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Vicky November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's Tea Time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
Thank you for staying with us. We're still speaking with Tracy Nwakpa. All right, Tracy, before we went on the break, we were talking about leveraging social media. So how exactly have you been able to leverage on social media to boost your business? And how can people who are in the interior design business also do this?
Okay, I have to say social media is like 70% of my clients come from social media.
Ooh.
You see, interior design is a very visual business. So when you post pictures or images or video of whatever you've done, people can see it. So it's easy for them to buy into it. And I don't play with social media at all. I have kind of mastered the art of using social media. Social media does not use me.
Do you want to share some tips with us?
Insta story. So I definitely always post before and afters. I tell stories about the space. Pictures are just important.
You make people connect with it.
Yes, I ask, if people ask questions, I respond to them. I post them on my personal page. I post them on the other page. I tell a story with whatever it is that I'm posting, so people buy into it. And also, it kind of helps because I have a bigger following on my personal page. So that kind of, when I post stuff about my interior projects, the following from my page kind of like filters into the interior culture page as well.
Space.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I think consistency for sure. You can't just ever stop posting. You always have to post. Like I haven't been that great because I'm so busy, but I have someone who handles my pages in-house, but the actual page, I'm very particular, so I do that myself. So consistency, great lighting, show details of the work, because obviously people edit a lot. So, and now people don't believe that, oh, this looks that good.
This is the actual thing.
Exactly. So I try to show videos as well, so you can see that, listen, I can't edit a video. Yeah, and then through that, I also post like feedbacks from clients, so that people can see that this is a real person that I actually worked with, and this real person was happy with their space. So yeah, those are like the key, I think, pointers that have helped me in terms of growing, my Instagram following and just putting my work out there.
I like the bit when you said you've mastered the art of social media. Social media doesn't use you, you use social media.
A lot of people are used by social media. I use social media to help me in my business and to motivate me and to inspire me. I'm not used by social media in the sense that it doesn't consume me, it doesn't take all of my time, or I don't feed into the negativity of social media. Everything I do is for my business. Even if I'm dressing nice and taking pictures, I know that if you see that I'm looking nice and taking pictures, you'll be inspired to look nice and take pictures. And you also kind of go through my page and find that, oh, this is what she does. She's an interior designer. Oh, okay. Oh, what's her page? And then click the link and they're like, oh, I know this person. I'm going to refer her to this person, or I'm going to use her for this purpose. So it's all part of using social media.
I absolutely can't agree any less by that. Now, how are you, with all of these things, putting in a lot of detailing when you're creating nice spaces, how are you able to maintain the blend between what the client wants? Some clients will give you specifications of what they want, but how are you able to combine that and ensuring that your creativity still stays alive?
Most of the time, to be frank, I think the clients trust me enough, so they don't bombard me with strict guidelines. Well, they give me guidelines that I follow, so I'm able to, visualize or come up with ideas based on the guidelines that they've given me. There are some clients that know exactly what they want, so you have to work with exactly what they, with their exact requirements. And I also have clients who don't even have an idea of what they want at all, and they're just like, you know what, Tracy? Look at this space. I don't know what I want. I just know I'm going to live here. I need a bed. I need a place to entertain my guests. I trust you. Just do whatever you want. And then, but it is important though for clients to give a guideline, because at the end of the day, it would help narrow down. It will help understand what you want, and then I can now create based on your needs, the functionality of the space, and your style. People have different styles, so it's important. So what I do to help with that is I send images of different kind of styles of different rooms, and I say, okay, what rooms do you like in this space? Like based on these pictures I've sent you, what do you connect more with? And then if they connect with an image that I know that is transitional contemporary, then I'll be like, okay, so this is your style. Then I would design based on that, having that in mind. So that's a trick. That's a neat trick to kind of understand a client who doesn't know what they want.
And finally, on financial investment, what level of financial investment is required to start off an interior design business?
You see, the trick...
You need a whole lot?
I don't think so. I didn't start with a whole lot of money. I worked on a contract basis with my artisans in the beginning. And I was everything in the beginning. I was my accountant, I was the designer, I was the marketer, I was everything. And then I had a lady who's worked with me since I started. And so in the beginning, you are doing everything, and you're contracting the job. So it's based on the jobs you get that you're able to pay your artisans. So it's not like you just have people that you're on a payroll that you have to pay even though you're not getting any business. So if for instance, if you have a corporate office to do, you give them your bill, you put in your profit and your damages and your miscellaneous, and based on that, you know that you can do the job. So if they pay you 70%, you're paying your artisans a certain percentage, and when you're done, you pay them their balance, and then you get your balance from the clients, and then you balance your books. So I don't think you need a huge startup capital to actually do what I do. I didn't have an office in the beginning. I was working from my house. I had my laptop, and if I needed to do a 3D, I would contract someone, and that payments would be coming from the payments of the job. Obviously, there are times you have to take risks because you can try to get a job and you may not get it, but you needed to have paid a graphic designer. So there are times that is a little bit tricky, but I don't think you need a huge sum of money to invest. Now, if you want to sell products, for instance, if you're a candle, you sell home fragrances, or you sell pillows or sheets, yes, you probably need startup capital so you can purchase the goods that you plan to sell, initially. But to offer a service, you don't really need. You could start with 0 naira, in my opinion.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
We're out of time, but I think I need to mention this because you talked about artisans. How are you able to manage artisans in Nigeria? Because I think that's a very important conversation to have.
Yes, it is. It's actually the most important. Artisans in Nigeria, you know, we don't have, you see, if you go to places like Togo or in the Western world, a painter is a professional in the sense that they went to school, they passed, they learned a craft like to the T. Here, we don't really have, I don't know if we have, in my experience, I don't know of any like, you know, school for craft for, you know, for artisans. I don't know of any school where you can learn how to paint, you can learn how to study carpentry. People that are carpenters now or in the furniture business now learns from an apprentice who learns from an, you know, they learned from their boss, you know, as an apprentice, and you know, just on and on and on. So they don't really learn the actual skills. Like I can have my screeder come here now with this table here and these chairs. He's going to start screeding. He doesn't cover up the existing furniture. So I had to take my time to teach them and be like, you know what, this is the right way. And then you have to spoon feed them in the beginning. Some of my artisans have worked with me from the very beginning for about 8 years now. So teaching them proportions, teaching them, sketching out every little detail and giving them the exact measurements, because I have the ability, I think one of my gifts, I have the ability to understand proportion. So I'm able to be like, okay, this should be about 8 inches, this should be about 12 inches, this should be about 20 inches, and then I show it to them. So that I think helps in terms of training them and grounding them, but it's definitely not easy at all. It's not easy.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time. We're completely out of time, but it was great having you in the studio.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Irene, for having me. Appreciate it.
And that's all on Ladies Talking Business. For more entertaining and enlightening content of this nature, do follow us on Plus TV Africa on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. You can follow me on my Twitter handle at Ubani Irene. Until next time, I remain your host, Irene Ubani. Bye.
Hey, what's up, guys? You're welcome to another edition of Plus Event, and I remain your host, Ifeoluwa Oshukeye.
Your absence isn't an excuse anymore, as Plus Event is all you need, as we bring you the glitz, the glamour, and loads of fun.
Oh, definitely, right? No question. He's a living legend.
Oh, God forbid, Holy Ghost fire, I know.
I just want to be blown away. I want to be wild. This is 11 years of doing it.
I'm surrounded by so much positivity.
No, it's okay.
Yo, what's up, my people? It's your boy Starboy Terry. You're watching
Plus Event
on Plus TV.
Stay glued to Plus TV Africa every Saturday and Sunday, 4:30 p.m. West African time.
There's always lots to talk about on The Advocate. We don't like to keep you in suspense.
If we have 35 revolutions a year, it will register in people's minds that 35 times people got up to try to fight.
Don't abandon ship. What is in your hand?
If you think about that copper that was making chairs and tables,
Yeah, him.
that is what his hands has found to do.
Now, a woman like Adadivo that you mentioned, why till today? Why can't we just give her this award?
China did not close their border and allow their presidents to go to America or London for medical treatment.
We're wasting our time on rice, and that's why every time I hear rice, I'm actually very angry.
TikTok, it's time to set things in motion.
No, you better not talk about
Politics has helped shape the decision of the polity from conspiracy theories to good old-fashioned comic politics.
These are the results of tomorrow's election. Okay, you have it already, have you?
I think we've done very well in the very difficult circumstances in which we took over governance.
Plus, politics will fill the polls of the country, from friends to frenemies, even strange bedfellows to clones and stooges. We go beyond the rhetorics and the drama to analyze the story behind the story.
Let anybody come and say.
The perception in itself does more harm than actual corruption that you have.
Plus Politics, not just another political show. It's about putting you, the citizens, in the know.
This TV station, Plus TV Africa, is designed to help to create a paradigm shift. The more we tell our stories, the more we learn from whatever our past mistakes have been.
We can be much more than we are. We should be doing a lot in refineries.
And we are definitely investing in our staff. We're training, we're developing, we're creating the kind of workforce that will be the envy of the international broadcast. The quality of the reportage, the quality of our presentation, the quality of our production will be obvious. We're saying that we want to reach Africans wherever they are and get the message across to them. That's what Plus TV Africa is all about.
Many thanks for joining us. The news in the hour on Plus TV Africa. Here are some of the stories making the headlines. President Muhammadu Buhari on Wednesday in London met with the management of Pearson Educational Group. The special advisor to the president on media, Femi Adesina, made the disclosure on his Facebook page. The president's media aide, who also posted the pictures of the meeting on the page, said that the Minister of Education, Adamu Adamu, and the Executive Secretary of National Universities Commission, NUC, Abubakar Rashid, attended the meeting. Also in attendance was the Nigerian High Commissioner to the UK. The National Working Committee, NWC, of the All Progressive Congress, APC, has upheld the suspension of the party's national chairman. The party's state chairman in Edo State, Anselm Ojezua, by 11 to 16 members of the State Working Committee. In a statement signed by its National Publicity Secretary, Larry Issa Odnilu, the party said that the party's State Working Committee had fulfilled the required conditions after it reviewed the process that led to the chairman's suspension. According to him, the NWC's objective and course of action is strictly to address the root causes of the disputations and reconcile all parties to make the party even stronger. The party spokesman said that the political development within the party ranks in Edo was deeply disturbed by the recent turn of events. The All Progressive Congress APC Governors Forum has called on the party's national chairman Adams Oshomole to call for National Executive Council meeting to resolve the party's challenges. In a statement signed by its Director General Saliu Lukman in Abuja on Wednesday, the forum said that Oshomole should either respect the provision of party constitution and convene a meeting to deliberate on the party's challenges. They regretted the National Executive Council of the party, which is the organ vested with the statutory responsibility of responding to all these challenges, appeared to be suspended. The governors are displeased. The NWC as of today is a shadow of itself, as it has lost many members either on account of appointment into government or controversial suspension. Still on the Edo State crisis, the state chapter of the PDP has again criticized Governor Godwin Obaseki, describing his tenure as a hardship phase for the people. Addressing a news conference on Wednesday in Benin, the chairman of the PDP in the state, Dan Obe, said the governor had failed to offer leadership to make the people enjoy the dividends of democracy. According to the PDP chief, the governor should face governance and stay out of the endless crisis rocking the state chapter of the APC. He lamented that Obaseki's administration in 3 years had only brought agony and deprivation to the populace, denied them the benefits expected from democracy. The PDP chief then also advised Obaseki to desist from the yearly jamboree of inviting people for talks in the name of marking anniversary, but to channel resources to tackling problems. The People's Democratic Party (PDP) has condemned and rejected the hate speech prohibition bill in the National Assembly, seeking stringent punishment, including death by hanging as penalty. The party, in a statement issued by its National Publicity Secretary, Kola Olubudiyo, on Wednesday at Abuja, said that inasmuch as the PDP did not condone hate speech under any guise, it regarded the bill as unconstitutional, undemocratic, and barbarous. He said that the provisions of the bill were deliberately hazy and nebulous, with the malicious intention to victimize innocent Nigerians. The spokesman said that the bill was targeted at official extermination of voice of dissent and perceived opposition. He said that Nigeria already had enough constitutional provisions and extant laws to safeguard a sane and healthy public expression space, adding that such law could not find its way into Nigeria. The bill was rejected in the Senate in 2018, only for it to be reintroduced. Now, the candidate of the All Progressive Congress APC for the March 9 Oyo State governorship poll, Bayo Adilabu, says he has decided to approach the Supreme Court in his bid to reclaim his mandate. The Court of Appeal ruled on Monday that the appeal he filed against the Election Petitions Tribunal's dismissal of his petition challenging the Independent National Electoral Commission's declaration of Governor Sheyi Makinde of the People's Democratic Party as the winner of the poll subsists. An APC candidate on Wednesday sent in his first official reaction to on his verified Facebook account that the judgment had further rekindled our hope in both the electoral and judicial processes in our march to keep a date with history. He said the appeal court has set the tone of righting the wrong, urging the people of Oyo State to hold the peace and go about their lawful activities as the party approaches the Supreme Court to validate the victory. Justice Ijoma Ojukwu of the Federal High Court in Abuja on Tuesday gave the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, until March 2020 to have the former Minister of Petroleum Resources, Dazani Alison Madueke, extradited to Nigeria. The commission had in November 2018 filed 13 counts of money laundering against the ex-minister, accusing her of unlawfully taking into possession $39.7 million and 3.32 billion naira, with which she allegedly bought choice properties in Abuja, Lagos, and Port Harcourt in Rivers State, where she was in office. When the matter came up before her on Tuesday, the judge threatened to strike out the money laundering case should the anti-corruption agency fail to produce the defendant in court by March 2020. The judge said, "My docket is not going to be a waiting room for the prosecution. I will give you one more adjournment. If nothing happens on the next date, I will strike it out." Dazani had been in the United Kingdom facing corruption investigation since 2015 when she left office as minister. Counsel to the third defendant in a suit filed by the EFCC against Murtala Nyako, former Adamawa State governor, and others, has appealed to the Federal High Court Abuja to order the EFCC to produce 3 of its witnesses for cross-examination. The council made the oral application on Wednesday before Justice Okonabang. While Nyako is the first defendant, his son, Senator Abdulaziz Nyako, is the second, while Zulkifli Abba is the third defendant in the case. The EFCC had charged the former governor, along with others, with 40 billion naira fraud. They were arraigned on a 37-count charge bordering on money laundering allegedly perpetrated while Nyako was the Adamawa State governor. Still in court matters, the Court of Appeal sitting in Calabar has upheld the victory of Governor Udom Emmanuel of Akwa Ibom State in the March 9, 2019 election. The 5-man panel, presided over by Justice Adzira Ghana, in a unanimous judgment agreed with the lead judgment read by Justice Tunde Owotoye. The court also awarded a cost of 500,000 naira against the appellant Nsima Ekere of the All Progressive Congress in favor of the first respondent, Governor Udom. The judgment read in part the appellants complained of irregularities in 756 polling units. They called a total of 43 witnesses, 17 of whom were polling agents. So, in over 700 units complained about, the appellant did not lead any evidence of non-compliance alleged. The court also held that when the result of an election is being questioned on the grounds of non-compliance with the provisions of the Electoral Act, it does not suffice to prove non-compliance without more. The petitioner must be able to go further to prove that the non-compliance was substantial and affected the result of the election. Meanwhile, Governor Udom Emmanuel has again dedicated his victory at the appeal court, Sagad.
All of you witnessed the election that is same consistently. In 1999, the last election was the election that was done massively, creditably, and transparently. That's why we said. So anybody who complained against the election was only being mischievous. But if somebody wanted to be a governor and he failed election in his own ward, his own local government, then when was he expecting to win the election? So was he expecting the court to manufacture votes for him? It is not possible. So for me, the result we have today was expected. It's a reasonable thing, very logically, on the basis of the law, on the basis of the fact, on the basis of what transpired on the 23rd day of, on the 9th day of March 2019. So it's obvious. We are only expecting him to go to the Supreme Court. Maybe after that, the World Court at Hague. I want people to remain very law-abiding. They should continue to support the government of Dr. Emmanuel, which is on the platform of PDP. PDP has developed this state from 1999 till today. No other party has done whatever we have seen in Akwa Ibom State.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, says collation officers for the November 16 Kogi governorship election will come from federal tertiary institution outside the state. INEC Federal Commissioner for Voter Education and Publicity, Festus Okoye, told newsmen in Lokoja on Wednesday that drawing the officials from other states was part of efforts to guarantee the credibility of the poll. He said that INEC had exclusive rights to appoint collation officers from any part of the country, and assured that the Commission was collaborating with security agencies to secure the electoral staff and collation centers on Saturday. He said that INEC is fully ready to go ahead with the election on Saturday, adding that all the electoral officials and ad hoc staff had been fully trained and ready to be deployed. Now, barely 3 days to the governorship election in Kogi, police in the state have ordered immediate seizure of all vehicles without number plates of the Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC. The Commissioner of Police, Akim Busari, who gave the order in Lokoja on Wednesday, said owners of vehicles with covered number plates should also remove them or have them impounded by policemen. The police chief, who spoke to newsmen after a security meeting of some heads of security agencies in the state, also ordered policemen attached to politicians and political office holders to withdraw themselves from such duty latest Friday morning. He said that all borders with neighboring states would be shut by 12 midnight on Friday. Restriction of vehicular movement will be enforced in the state from 12 midnight of November 15 to 6 p.m. of November 16. The news continues after the short break. Unknown gunmen killed 6 farmers near Tanzania's southern border with Mozambique, a senior police official said on Wednesday, amid growing concerns over Islamist militants in a poor region where foreign companies are developing gas deposits. The ambush on Tuesday night on an island in the Ruvuma River that forms the border between the two countries is the latest in a spate of execution-style attacks in the area since 2017 that have so far killed more than 100 people. The gas deposits are in the northern Mozambican province, Cabo Delgado, and researchers have found that the militants who are based there and launched attacks on both sides of the border have links to Islamist groups in Tanzania, Somalia, Kenya, and the Great Lakes region, where some also received training. And the United States on Wednesday said it was gravely disappointed with South Sudan's failure to form a unity government by a November 12 deadline and would re-evaluate its relationship with the African nation's government. The U.S. State Department spokeswoman Morgan Ortagus said the U.S. will work bilaterally and with the international community to take action against all those impeding South Sudan's peace process, adding that the United States would also seek to establish a new paradigm to achieve peace and a successful political transition in South Sudan with others in the region. Up next is our foreign news. The top U.S. diplomat in Ukraine testifying on Wednesday is the first televised hearing of the impeachment inquiry against President Donald Trump, linked the president more directly to a pressure campaign on Ukraine to conduct investigations that would benefit him politically. William Taylor was one of the two career diplomats who testified before the U.S. House of Representatives Intelligence Committee as a crucial new phase began in the impeachment inquiry that threatens Trump's presidency, even as he seeks re-election in 2020. William Taylor and George Kent testified about their concerns about pressure by Trump and allies to get Ukraine to investigate Democratic political rival Joe Biden in a dramatic hearing that pitted Democratic and Republican lawmakers against each other.
I do not believe the United States should ask other countries to engage in selective, politically associated investigations or prosecutions. In mid-August, it became clear to me that Giuliani's efforts to gin up politically motivated investigations were now infecting U.S. engagement with Ukraine.
The member of my staff could hear President Trump on the phone asking Ambassador Sondland about the investigations. Ambassador Sondland told President Trump the Ukrainians were ready to move forward. Following the call with President Trump, the member of my staff asked Ambassador Sondland what President Trump thought about Ukraine. Ambassador Sondland responded that President Trump cares more about the investigations of Biden, which Giuliani was pressing for.
The Hong Kong Education Bureau has announced that all schools in Hong Kong will suspend classes from Friday to Sunday due to transportation disruptions following a similar move on Thursday. The Bureau urged students to stay away from violence. Anti-government protesters paralyzed parts of Hong Kong for a fourth straight day on Thursday, forcing school closures and blocking highways and other transport links to disrupt the financial hub amid a marked escalation of violence. Coming up next is our business news.
This Medan has been directed to empower 1,000 persons with disabilities in each state in the next 12 months.
When I start hearing the shoot of gun.
Whatever I have done.
Every public policy has winners and losers, and some will not be very happy with you, while others, usually the silent majority, will be quite happy.
U.S. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell on Wednesday pushed back against the favorite talking point of President Donald Trump, telling Congress that the negative interest rates sought by President Trump aren't appropriate for a U.S. economy with ongoing growth, a strong labor market, and steady inflation. The Reserve Chair, over the course of a 90-minute hearing before the Joint Economic Committee, dodged several efforts to pull him into pre-election year politics. alternating, saying that the Fed's job was not to set trade, immigration, or federal spending policies, weigh in on Democratic candidates' wealth tax and other proposals, or dole out credit for the U.S. economy's record-setting expansion now in its 11th year. But the Fed chief did wade into the economics of the negative rates of interest that countries, including Switzerland and Germany, currently pay on their government bonds.
The outlook is still a positive one. There's no reason this expansion can't continue, and there's a lot of value in continuing it. We're seeing this the 11th year of an expansion, now the longest in U.S. recorded history. What we're seeing is that income gains are the highest at the lower end of the wage scale. And so it's very positive. We're also seeing people being pulled back into the labor market. There's a lot to like about this rare place of the 11th year of an expansion. And I think we're certainly committed to doing what we can to extend it. We've been hearing now for a year and a half from companies, and I think this is fairly widely accepted now, that tariffs, but to an even greater extent, uncertainty around future trade policy is, for now, it has been weighing on business sentiment and is probably part of the global slowdown in manufacturing, in business investment, in export.
The federal government on Wednesday announced that it would employ 75,000 agricultural extension workers to motivate farmers in the production of agro-commodities. It also inaugurated the National Fish Association of Nigeria with the aim of boosting domestic fish production following the closure of Nigeria's borders to fish imports, among others. The Minister of State for Agriculture and Rural Development, Mustapha Shehuri, disclosed that the government's plan to employ 75,000 workers in Maiduguri, Borno State. He made this during his tour of facilities of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development in the Northeast. He also said that FMAD was determined to proffer solutions to all the challenges in the agricultural sector based on the mandate it received from the president. Still ahead on Plus TV Africa News is our roundup on entertainment and sports. We're back in a moment. Disney shares soared to a record high after the entertainment firm said its new streaming service, Disney Plus, had been met with extraordinary consumer demand, reaching 10 million sign-ups in its first day. The strong performance, which added $18 billion to its market capitalization, appears to establish Disney as a leading player in the streaming wars that pit it against industry leader Netflix and Amazon. Combined with Disney's other streaming business, Hulu, which has 26.8 million subscribers, and ESPN Plus, which serves 3.5 million subscribers, the company now serves 40.3 million viewers in the United States, compared to about 60 million for Netflix. That's it on entertainment. Sports news comes on after this break.
There's always lots to talk about on The Advocate. We don't like to keep you in suspense.
If we have 35 revolutions a year, it will register in people's minds that 35 times people got up to try to fight.
Don't abandon ship. What is in your hand?
If you think about that copper that was making chairs and chairs.
Yeah.
That is what his hands has found to do.
Now, a woman like Adadivo that you mentioned, why till today? Why can't we just give her this award?
China did not close their border and allow their presidents to go to America or London for medical treatment.
We're wasting our time on rice, and that's why every time I hear rice, I'm actually very angry.
TikTok, it's time to set things in motion.
No, you better not talk about it.
Politics has helped shape the decision of the polity from conspiracy theories to good old-fashioned comic politics.
These are the results of tomorrow's election. Okay, you have it already, have you?
I think we've done very well in the very difficult circumstances in which we took over governance.
Plus, politics will fill the polls of the country, from friends to frenemies, even strange bedfellows, to clones and stooges. We go beyond the rhetorics and the drama to analyze the story behind the story.
Let everybody come and say.
The perception in itself does more harm than actual corruption that you have.
Plus, politics, not just another political show. It's about putting you, the citizens, in the know.
Super Eagles head coach Gernot Rau on Wednesday said winning the 2021 African Cup of Nations AFCON for Nigeria would make him the most excited person. Rau, who spoke at a post-match conference in Uyo after his team came from behind to defeat the Squirrels of Benin Republic 2-1, said winning AFCON 2021 was a huge desire. It would be exciting for me to win the 2021 AFCON title with Nigeria. That's my desire, and I will be the most excited. The Nigerian versus Benin game was a 2021 AFCON qualifier, and it took place at the Godswin Akpabio International Stadium in Uyo. Rao said Benin Republic have a good team, also noted that the Nigerian side had a good game in the second half. And that's our news roundup of events at this hour. For more news updates, please follow us at Plus TV Africa on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel that is also at Plus TV Africa. I'll be back later with more stories making the headlines. Do please join us again. Thank you for your time.
A lot of the jobs that exist today will not exist in the next 10 years.
When I see people today shouting, we're not too young to run, we are ready to run. Ready to run to where?
The people of excellence are, to a certain extent, being held ransom by idiots and bandits.
Once you are in government, you believe everything you do is right. And once you are in opposition, everything the government does is wrong.
And so it's time for us to take over power.
Hi guys, my name is Kemen Fitness. I'm a fitness entrepreneur and wellness coach. Drink a lot of water, stretch before you work out. Try to work out at least 30 minutes. Eat healthy, that's eat clean, and have a lot of sleep here. Try to sleep when you can. On the keyboard. I don't think I know. On the keyboard. That's it, on the keyboard. If it's not Z, I don't know. Oh, last sleep with your hunger with. When was the last time I hung outside? But I had the most fun hanging out with Timaya. He's a comedian. North America, South America, Asia, Europe, Africa, Australia, Antarctica. I.
Good morning to you. Thank you for joining us and After the Press and Plus TV Africa. My name is Felicity Ezewike. I won't be doing this alone. I have a guest with me, public affairs analyst Femi Adegoke. Pleasure to have you.
Good morning.
Good morning. All right, we have a couple of papers this morning. We'll just start off with The Nation. The first thing here, the screamer actually, is most bad roads belong to states, says federal government. And just beneath it, you will see Minister with Funding Works Ministry, 650 billion naira released for capital projects. That's also on the front page. You will also see Bielsa, we're monitoring troublemakers, says U.S. Details on page 8. And then that picture, I don't know if we can flip so you can see it. There is a picture on the front page. Yes, there you have it. The young man taking a selfie while they were lying along the bush paths to avoid being hit by stray bullets because of the tension over Saturday's governorship election in Bielsa State. We also have APC raises panel on Edo crisis. Party endorses state chairman suspension. Oshomole's men suspend Obaseki. Others. It's really an ongoing drama in Edo State. Let's go to the case of Sowore, as captured on the paper at the very top mast, just above the nameplate. You will see release Sowore, says Shoyinka. DSS Falano disagree. $400 million of battery loot coming from U.S. That's another one for you. Cash stashed in 12 nations. Will we ever get to the end of the loot by this family? More $400 million coming from the U.S. Sad one, 13 die in Lagos-Ibadan accident, 10 injured in crash. On the flip side of The Nation newspaper, you will see a picture of the First Lady, Aisha Buhari. And the caption for today is Aisha's moral recourse, comments and debate. Your handball favorite is also there for you. Let's bring our guest in. Femi.
Yeah.
We have, I missed the Bielsa Kogi election 20. The countdown is on. But let's start with this picture that says a million words at the same time.
Well, it's worrisome and it is sad that our politicking has become a war front, that people now have to run for their lives. There was one going on in Kogi as well. I think a few days, one of the contestants claimed that she was attacked, and we saw the cars vandalized and all that. And now we're back in Bielsa. We can see people running for their lives. I don't know how we got here.
What about the U.S. saying they're monitoring troublemakers? Of what benefit is that comment? Does it have any impact if they say we're monitoring Bielsa State elections?
I don't think that. I've always said it, that you don't come out and make such statements. People don't just want you to talk. They want to see what you've done to curb or to bring these irregularities to barest minimum. You are monitoring, and people's lives are in danger. How long are you going to monitor for? Until everybody's dead? I don't understand.
All right, let's look at other headlines. Which one would you like to pick on?
Well, firstly, I would like to talk about the release of Sowore said by Soyinka. Well, what the Nobel laureate said, I agree with him 100%, because in this country, the civil society is actually urging the civil society to come together as one body and voice out. Because right now, the draconian system or the dictatorial system that we're seeing, not that Nigeria has not seen it before, but it took the people, their blood and their life to get this democracy. So we must rise up and stand to keep the democracy again. That's in a nutshell what the Nobel laureate was saying, and how DSS has played back and front on this issue. And I think yesterday, the spokesperson for DSS came out and said the sureties had not come for Sowore, which the lawyer, the senior advocate of Nigeria, Falana, has come out to refute and said he has been since on the 6th. They have served the bailiff and all what they're supposed to do, they've done. And then there's a back and forth.
Do you see them releasing Sowore? Because it's looking like he might still be held, and I understand from the grapevine that he is on hunger strike.
Well, I'm not going to talk about Sowore being on hunger strike. That's a personal decision anyway. But whether they will release him or not, we can talk about that now. Because I don't understand a government who wants the people to trust his actions or inactions. You now disobey court orders, not once, not twice, not 3 times. You are plunging the country or the system into a breakdown of law and order very soon. Let us know whether we're running democracy or we're in dictatorship, so that the people will prepare themselves and know this is what we have.
Okay, let's look at the story of Abacha loot. It seems there is an unending pocket where that money is being stored. This time, $400 million. Yeah. It's coming from the U.S. Should we expect more? Is there more money?
Well, will we expect more over time? Because like we said here yesterday, we don't put preventive measures. We only come after and start chasing thieves, chasing people who have plundered our national wealth. Now Abacha's loot. Abacha died in 1998. That's almost, how many years now? 21 years. And we're still getting this amount of money. And then yesterday in the news, there was a case of Diezani, the court threatening or issuing statement that they are going to strike it out. Do you know how long we're going to be able to recover Diezani's loot if we're still recovering Abacha's loot at this time? So therefore, we need to start putting a system in place that will prevent people from being able to even plunder our national wealth in the first place.
All right, the situation in Bayelsa and Kogi is captured a bit on the front page. In case you missed it, go grab a copy of the Nation newspaper for details. Let's move on to the Punch newspaper now. The screamer is still on the Edo State situation. NWC begins reconciliation as Oshiomhole Obaseki split APC. Call a NEC meeting or resign, DG tells ex-Edo governor. Lukman speaking for himself, National Vice Chair. That's all on your screen. If you look at the top, you see customs seek return of import tax on petroleum products. Again, the Soyinka call is echoed here. DPR holds construction of filling stations in border areas. That's another issue with suspending supply of fuel to that part. Supreme Court give reasons for dismissing Atiku's petition today. I'm sure lawyers are waiting impatiently for that one. Let's go to that picture on the front page. Let's see what it's about. It's one die as shooting Ma Bayelsa PDP rally. Again, the nation carried a selfie of people dodging bullets. This time we see people trying to breathe, water being thrown on them, as you can see on the screen. Oyo Governor, Oyo Gov, Adelabu heads for Supreme Court, because he's certainly not the governor at the moment. Oyo Gov, Adelabu heads for Supreme Court. 3 sentenced to death for kidnapping Lagos monarch. Again, Gani Adams tackles Southwest governors over insecurity. We have more headlines, but I want to bring in Femi first. Let's talk a bit about what we've highlighted so far.
The NWC begins reconciliation as a Oshiomhole of Obaseki split. The Edo State story is just the expression of what is actually going on in the political parties in this country. I said it before, they don't even have internal democracy. We heard yesterday their Progressive Governors Forum, as APC governors, their spokesperson, Lukman, coming out to say that Oshiomhole in over a year had not organized a National Executive Committee meeting, which shows they don't follow through their own party constitution. These people don't do that within their own political party, and we expect them to run Nigeria well. It's not going to happen. In my language, is what it says that whoever is going to clothe you, you have to look at what he's putting on. They cannot give what they don't have. I don't believe in their system, and it's not going to work. And we're seeing what they're doing. From Edo now, we have Anambra, we have Ondo, we have it all over across. They've done it in Zamfara. And it just tells you the kind of leaders that we have. If they cannot have their own home, because that's their first constituency, their political party organized.
Okay, you know, the situation with kidnapping is worrying a lot of persons. And then you see a headline like this that says 3 sentenced to death for kidnapping Lagos monarch. By the way, you can find details on page 4 and 5 of the paper. But I want to take your thought on that. Death sentence.
Well, there is so much insecurity in the land. Death sentence, for personally, is a no-no. But if it's in our law, what do we say?
Well, will they carry it out?
Yeah, that's another thing for us to see whether they will. But personally, I don't believe in capital punishment anymore. It's abolished in most civilized places of the world, but we're still with it, so.
All right, we have 13 killed, 10 injured in Lagos-Ibadan road crash. That story was also captured on the Nation newspaper. Man murders wife, shoots brother in Imo State. You want to get details, page 5 is where you find it. Roads, FG releases 650 billion naira for capital projects. Works, 3 others got the lion's share. That's according to the minister. Fashola and the death of an idol. Thursdays with Abimbola. Why is she saying a death of an idol? You might want to go read that up for yourself. Before we go, I don't know if you read this story. Have you read it yet?
No, I've not.
Okay, so we'll just leave it for now and go to This Day newspaper, where we have INEC gets court order on exclusion of bias APC's Gov running mate, that's governorship candidate. Meets today, says SDP on ballot for Kogi poll. We also have PDP seeks obedience to judgment. And then APC constitutes fact-finding committee on Edo crisis. That's another one for you on the front page of the paper. And then we also have, let's see, PDP senators kick as Senate approves 10 billion naira refund for Kogi. FG to divert from 10 gas-powered NIPPs. On the back of it, you have Emir Sanusi's inconvenient truth. Okay, over to you now.
On the PDP senators' kicks on Senate approval of a 10 billion refund for Kogi State, I would tie that with the federal government or the Minister of Works saying most roads are bad for our state roads. Why are they now paying a state governor for fixing the federal government projects or federal government roads? They should stop pulling wool over our eyes. Nigerians need to begin to understand the intricacies that these people play. They play on our intelligence too much, and it's time to say no. Okay, now the PDP senators, they understand that, okay, the Kogi state governor or government has spent on federal projects. They need to be refunded. That's is standard. But why are you doing it now? Few days to the election. And they have an argument that the money might be used for something else and not to pay back the debt or the loan they acquired. So it's just irresponsibility in government. That's what I see to all this that is going on at the moment. So,
okay, let's see. APC Constitute Fact-Finding Committee on the Edo crisis. What's your take on that crisis, actually?
Well, I read that story in Punch, and I saw some extracts from the governor. He said that they said the national chairman, Oshomole, claimed that he made him governor, but it was God that made him governor. And then he said that 12 years ago when he met Oshomole, they had a common front to rescue the states. And then Oshomole now turned around, and he actually raised money in Lagos for Oshomole's campaign. Now, and Oshomole claiming now that he sponsored his own campaign, that if he could raise money, you understand, it's just a personal vendetta, between the two of them. And they're throwing it all over the country. It's really, really sad how we found ourselves in this place.
All right, we'll move on to the Vanguard newspaper now. Still on the Edo crisis. All the papers, it's everywhere.
It's everywhere, yeah.
Edo crisis, APC governors move against Oshomole. You also see campaign parties neck meeting now or resign. That's APC Governors Forum. Adds it's painful to see party chair reduced to local champion. I have more riders to that story. Buhari's meeting in London is captured on the front page with some key foreign nationals and Nigerian Minister of Education. There is also this one. Army begins Operation Crocodile Smile 4 in Ondo State. Under it, you see 1 killed, scores injured as PDP-APC supporters clash in Nembe Bayelsa. Over taking that story in some of the papers. Senate wants fuel supply restored at border towns. FG, Lagos government clarify road repairs. LA fears on third mainland bridge. Okay, we have a bit of Naira Watch just above the Mr. and Mrs. cartoon. We haven't touched on that for a bit, but I hope you like it and go take a look at it. Naira stable at 358.5 in parallel market. That's another one for you. Hate speech bill not necessary. Minister speaks. Reps approve 7.5% VAT increment. Nigeria's electricity meter gap to gulp at 324 billion naira. That's something else for you on Vanguard. And behind it is the usual recap of everything that's happened in the sports world. But before we wrap things up, let's hear from our guest.
Yeah, a speech bill not necessary. That's a good one from the federal government, because there's an act or law that already takes care of it. And they are saying there's no need to sponsor another bill, to bring in another commission and all that. So let's just enforce what we have, because the cybercrime law takes care of that. That's what is said. And our National Assembly, I think they bother themselves with too much of irrelevance in trying to gain relevance. I said it, and I'll say it again. The PIB bill is there. It's not been done. We're talking about bringing another bill on. Our Electoral Act that is fluctuating, that is court who decides who becomes our... And then the lack of respect for the rule of law is there. They're not talking about it. And like I don't believe that, but in some quarters, they're saying that the National Assembly, the legislative arm, has been swallowed by the executive, because they're just saying the same, they're just working in time together now.
Well, is it not too quick to write them off, considering that they're still relatively new?
No, they're not new. Most 70% or over 70% are not new. Government should be a continuum. Some of them have been there for donkey years, since 1999 as senators. Some of them have been there for 12 years, 16 years, not even sponsored one motion. So the challenge is, do they even know why they're there? Because now an average common Nigerian is losing hope because they're supposed to be our reps, they're not representing us, and then the court, they're supposed to be the last hope of the common man. The orders are not respected or are not obeyed.
Quite unfortunate. Let's see what the sports have for us this morning. Leicester planned January loan deal for Iheanacho. That's on sports. We also have Etuhu found guilty of match fixing ex-Eagle star to appeal conviction. That's something for you also on Complete Sports this morning. Milan wants Ancelotti return. We also have Eagle star to top of Group L. Osimhen Kalu gets Nigeria to a flying start. Aribo wows Nigerian fans. Rangers star hailed as a blessing to Nigeria. These are some of the headlines you will find on the Complete Sports newspaper. Any quick thoughts before we wrap things up?
Well, Nigeria had a game yesterday with Republic of Benin. And we didn't do, the match, I saw it, but it wasn't very impressive. But the good thing is that we won.
It was an impressive game.
It wasn't impressive, but we won, yeah. So
at the end of the day, that's what we won.
We'll take the win. We'll take the win.
Thank you so much for coming on the program this morning.
Thank you for having me.
And of course, thank you for watching. Hope the rest of your day goes well. If you need to catch up on some of the stories, please go patronize your vendor. They do need the business. Thanks again for watching. Bye for now.
Is it for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria?
Welcome to Cross Trending. I am Vicky November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
The first thing is for us to get the education. We need to understand what child sexual abuse is about. Firstly, child sexual abuse is any sexual activity between an adult and a child. And when I talk about a child is someone between the age of 0 and 18. So that's when you have sexual activity with a child who is between the age of 0 and 18. So the first tip that we should know about child sexual abuse is education. We need to understand what child sexual abuse is. Child sexual abuse can happen to anyone, anywhere, and anytime. Then the second one is to teach children what we call body boundary, body safety, and space boundary as well. What do I mean by that? You should be able to educate children that their body belongs to them. Apart from God, their body belongs to them. They should be able to identify every part of their body and label them correctly. We should teach children the correct names of their body parts. Personally, I believe there is nothing like good touch or bad touch or private part and public part for children. I believe that every part of a child is private. From the strand of their hair to the sole of their feet is private. They don't have the right to give consent. So we consider every body part of a child as private. So parents, caregivers, anyone who handles children should be able to understand this, that there is nothing called public or private part. I mean, every part of the child is private. Then we have to be careful. We need to teach children what we call trusted adults. Trusted adults are adults who children can easily run up to or go and speak with about their concerns. When something happens, who can your child run to go and meet? Is it their father? Is it their mother? Is it anyone around them who is an adult and you consider them safe with children? We call them trusted adults. So I said that children should be able to mention and label their body parts correctly. The private part that we generally know for girls is the vagina, their vulva, their breast, their lap, their buttocks. We should not call buttocks bum. It is not bum, it is buttocks, because we have identified that some of these predators actually use this against the children. If a child cannot correctly say the appropriate name of their private body parts, predators, they use this against them, and the children may not be able to communicate well what exactly is wrong with them. If you take, for instance, when you call penis cucumber, you tell a child that penis is cucumber and somebody is touching their penis, the child may not easily relate whatever happens well to their caregiver. They could say, he touched my cucumber, he touched another. So in fact, it doesn't even give children the self-esteem to own their body. We call something body owning. When you understand the appropriate names of your sexual parts, then you can own it. Because we realize that some sexual predators as well use this against children. When they see that children don't know how to take care of themselves or own their body, their self-esteem is low, sexual predators use this against the children. Then we usually advise caregivers not to always leave children carelessly. We should have people who should be responsible to children at any point in time. So please never leave your children or your child unattended to. Whenever you're not there, ensure that there's someone who is responsible for your child. Then do something we call family mapping. Family mapping simply means that you should be able to identify who is around your child at any point in time, even if you're not there. You should be able to say, okay, so person has contact with my child. Then you should be able to map your environment out. Who are the ones who are likely to have contact or connection with my child? Your house help, the steward, the gatesman, the driver, your family and friends, people who come in and out of the house. So at the end of the day, when something happens, you'll be able to know who was with the child at a particular time. Teach children how to take care of themselves as well and how to say no. A lot of children don't know how to say no because we teach them to be very respectful to strangers. We're not saying that they shouldn't be respectful to strangers, but let them know that when they are not comfortable with a touch, they should be able to express themselves and say, no, don't touch me there. No, I will tell my dad. No, I will tell my mom. And that is why it is very important for parents to establish a very good relationship with children, because we realize that a lot of parents and caregivers, they don't have very good rapport and relationship with children. So when things like that happen, children don't even have the opportunity to convey or express whatever that is happening to them to their child, to their handlers or their caregivers. Again, we realize that a lot of caregivers and parents don't trust children. I will tell you particularly that research has it that 95% of abuse that children report is actually real. So when a child tells you this is what is happening to me, there is a 95% chance that it is real. So we should be patient enough to listen to children when they want to say something, because we realize that children oftentimes don't talk, but when they talk, parents shut them down. And once parents shut them down, they don't say anything thereafter. So most times the abuse continues. Another thing we should know is that research has it that hardly will you find a stranger molesting a child. Most of the cases that we have treated in the past years has made us realize that mostly family and friends are the ones who get involved in the molestation of children. And who are we talking about? We're talking about people who are closely related to us, our friends, our families and friends of the family, people who have easy access to the house, people who we are vulnerable to, people who know our weaknesses, people who knows when we come in and when we go out, when we are not available, people who know that we don't have a good relationship with our children, people who know that our children are lacking in emotional health. They know that you don't have time for them, so they try to figure out ways to find those time for them so that they can use that to penetrate. We call it grooming. So we understand that people who live around us are the ones who actually sexually abuse our children. And we notice that it takes, they don't just stop once, they continue. Once they start, it is always very difficult for them to stop.
Alright, country people, greet on top this very clock when they join us for news on the hour for Plus TV Africa. This is not the true MC once I'm given my name, na promise, Nero. This special advisor to the president on media, Oga Femi Adesina. He threw one yarn for his Facebook page inside Abuja say, Oga President Muhammadu Buhari on Wednesday for London, he meet with management of Pearson Educational Group for London. And the president media aide, when MBC still post the pictures of the meeting for the page, he said the Minister of Education, Adamu Adamu, and the Executive Secretary of the National Universities Commission, NUC, Abubakar Rashid, showed the meeting. People when say they still show face now the Nigeria High Commissioner to the UK, Adeshola Oguntade. The National Working Committee, NWC, of the All Progressive Congress, APC, don't support the suspension of the party Shemo for Edo Aslem Ojezwa, when say 11 of 16 members of the State Working Committee, they do. For one statement, when say the National Publicity Secretary, Lanre Isaonilu, signed, the party say the party State Working Committee do what they say they go do after the shukai for the process when say lead to the Shemo suspension. As Tekian, he said the NWC objective and course of action had to touchlight what really caused the palaver and bring all the part item together to make the party strong weller. And the party talk person said the wahala when say just happen when say nobody so affect the political development within the party rank for Edo State. The All Progressive Congress APC Governors Forum don't call on the party National Chairman Adams Oshomole make a call for National Executive Council NEC meeting to touchlight the palaver. For 1 year, so I'm say the Oga Patapata Saliu Lukman signed for Abuja on Wednesday. The forum say make Oshomole respect the provision of the party constitution and do meeting to yarn the party palaver. And they say they say they suspend the National Executive Council neck of the party when say suppose they touchlight the matter of the party. And the governor not happy for the NWC as of today and say they don't lost many members because of the appointment for government or suspension. The Edo State chapter of the PDP don't talk matter of Governor Godwin Obaseki again and say tenure na suffer for the people. The chairman of the PDP for the state, Dan Obi, when be say they yarn for one conference on Wednesday, say the governor, he don't fail to give leadership to make the people enjoy the betterness of democracy. As the PDP Shifo take yarn, he say make the governor face governance and come out hand from Gbege for the state chapter of the APC. He talks about Obaseki administrate for 3 years, don't only bring wahala, and it don't stop the people to get something from democracy. The PDP Shifo still Samayanis give Obaseki make a come out hand from the yearly groove where say they invite people for talk for the name of say they mark anniversary, but instead make a shine the money to tackle wahala. The People's Democratic Party PDP don't condemn and reject the hate speech prohibition bill for the National Assembly. When we say that they say they want to give Ogbonge punishment when we say be death by hanging as penalty. They said the party for 1 year, so I'm saying the National Publicity Secretary Kola Olobodiyan, he do on Wednesday for Abuja say As much as the PDP no put on for the hate speech under any palaver, they say they see the bill as unconstitutional or democratic and it don't make sense at all. He said the provision of the bill not to carry do innocent Niger people. The talk person say the bill the target official voice of dissent, and it be like say with the opposition they do, now they won't follow. And he say Nigeria already get enough constitutional provision and laws to safeguard better and healthy public hands for space, and say that kind of law no fit see front for Nigeria. They reject the bill for the Senate for 2018 only for them to reintroduce her again. The candidate of the All Progressive Congress for the March 9 Oyo State governorship poll, Bayo Adelabu, he said already to go to the Supreme Court for a worker to reclaim a mandate. The Court of Appeal ruled on Monday said the appeal when we say file against the Election Petition Tribunal, when we say the throw-in petition, when we say take challenge the Independent National Electoral Commission as they declare Governor Seyi Makinde of the People's Democratic Party as the winner of the polls in a follow. One APC candidate on Wednesday talked for him first official yarn for him verified Facebook account say the judgment don't ginger their hope for both the electoral and judicial process for their march to keep the date with history. He said the appeal court don't settle the tone of righting the wrong as they tell the people of Oyo State to hold the peace and go do their lawful work as the party approach the Supreme Court to validate the victory. Justice Ijoma Ojukwu of the Federal High Court for Abuja on Tuesday give the Economic and Financial Crime Commission until March 2020 to take bring before Minister of Petroleum Resources, Diezani Alison Madueke, come Nigeria. The commission on November 2018 filed 13 count of money against the before minister as a some accused giver say she take $39.7 million and 3.32 billion naira when say she take buy big property them for Abuja, Lagos, and Port Harcourt of Rivers State when say she take the office. When the matter show face before on Tuesday, the judge threatened to strike out the money matter if the anti-Wururu body no fit bring her come court by March 2020. The judge say he no go fit dey wait for courtroom give judgment, and he say he go give them one more adjournment. And if nothing happen for the next date, he go throw away the matter. The Zani don dey the United Kingdom dey face Wururu matter since 2015, when we say she come out from office as minister. Yakubu Michael son and counsel to the third defendant for one suit when we say EFCC file against Murtala Yako before Adamawa governor and others don't appeal to the Federal High Court, Abuja, to order the EFCC may they produce 3 of their witnesses them for cross-examination. Michael threw away this applicant on Wednesday before Justice Okona Bang. As Yako, now the first defendant, he became Senator Abdulaziz Yako, now the second defendant, while Zulkifli Abba, now the third defendant for the matter. The EFCC don't charge the before governor along with others with 40 billion naira Wururu. And they grab them for 37 can charge when we say follow money Wururu, when we say they do when Yako be there as Adamawa governor. The Court of Appeal when we say they sit down for Calabado Court found the victory of Governor Udom Emmanuel of Akwa Ibom State for the March 9, 2019 election. The 5-man panel when we say Justice Adzira Ghana Michelia sit down as Oga for one judgment, agree with the lead judgment when we say Justice Tunde Awotoye read. The court award one cost of 500,000 naira against the appellant, Nsima Ikere of All Progressive Congress, in favor of the first respondent, Governor Udom. The judgment read for the party say the appellant he complained of some yeye waka of 756 polling units, and they called total of 43 witnesses them. 70 of them are polling agents. So for over 700 units, when they say they take complaint, the appellant don't lead any evidence of non-compliance. And the court still say when we say they question the result of the election for the ground of non-compliance with the provision of the Electoral Act, in order to prove non-compliance without more. And say the petitioner must prove more, say the non-compliance affect the result of the election. Meanwhile, Governor Udom Emmanuel don't rededicate in victory for the appeal court.
We expected this result because from the war there was no case against the government. The election, all of you witnessed the election. That is saying consistently. In 1999, that election was the only election that was done massively, presidentially and transparently. That's why we said. So anybody who complained against that election was only being mischievous. Because if somebody wanted to be a governor and he failed election in his own ward, his own local government, then where was he expecting to win the election? So was was he expecting the court to manufacture votes for him? It is not possible. So for me, the result we have today was expected. It's a reasonable thing, very logically, on the basis of the law, on the basis of the fact, on the basis of what transpired on the 23rd day of, on the 9th day of March 2019. So it's obvious. We are only expecting him to go to the Supreme Court. Maybe after that, the World Court at Hague. I want people to remain very law-abiding. They should continue to support the government of Dr. Emmanuel, which is on the platform of PDP. PDP has developed this state from 1999 till today. No other party has done whatever we have seen in Accra.
The Independent National Electoral Commission say coalition officers for the November 16 Kogi governorship election could come from the Federal Tertiary Institute outside the state. INEC Federal Commissioner for Voter Education and Publicity, Festus Okoye, talk people for the Ogbonge election. He said INEC get exclusive rights to appoint coalition officers from any part of the country and said the commission they collaborate with security agent body to secure the electoral staff and coalition centers on Saturday. He said INEC they ready well to go ahead with the election on Saturday and say they don't train all the electoral officials and ad hoc staff well, and they're not ready to send a go where it be said the election take the happen. Just 3 days to the governorship election for Kogi State, police for the state don't order say made they sharply seize all the motor when say they don't get number plate of the Federal Road Safety Corps. The Commissioner of Police, Akim Buzari, when say give the order for local on Wednesday, he said make people when say they get the motor with covered number plate, remove them, or police go carry them. And the police chief, when we say Yan, we talk people after one security meeting of some head of security agencies for the state, he still other policemen, when we say they join to politicians and political office holders, made they withdraw themselves from that kind of work latest Friday morning. He said they go close all the borders with neighboring state by 12 midnight on Friday. And they go stop all motor movement for the state from 12 midnight on November 15 to 6 p.m. of November 16. All right, the news will continue after the chicken break. Mona not go anywhere. We'll the show back. Let's say one senior police official talk on Wednesday say some gunmen when say they don't know, key 6 farmers near Tanzania Southern border with Mozambique. And this one, they happen because of the growing Islamic militant for poor region where we say foreign companies they develop gas deposits. The ambush on Tuesday night for one island inside the Ruvuma River where we say formed the border between the two countries and the latest brigade for the area since 2017 when we say they don't kill more than 100 people. The gas deposit did in northern Mozambique province, Cabo Delgado, and researchers don't see the militant when we say the base for there to launch attacks for both sides of the border, and another link to Islamist group inside Tanzania, Somalia, Kenya, and the Great Lakes region, where I'm saying some still they receive training for that place. United States on Wednesday say they're not happy with South Sudan as they fail to form one unity government for November 12 deadline, and they go look their relationship with the African nation government again. U.S. State Department talk woman Morgan Ortagos, he said the U.S. go work well and with the international community to take action against all those who say they cause wahala to stop South Sudan peace progress. And said the United States go look for one new way to achieve peace and successful political transition for South Sudan with others for the region. The next one, our foreign news. The top U.S. diplomat for Ukraine, when we say they talk waiting no on Wednesday for the first televised hearing of the Porsche matter against Oga President Donald Trump, he linked the president direct to one pressure campaign for Ukraine to do torchlighting when we say go benefit them politically. William Taylor, now one of the two career diplomats, when we say they talk waiting they know before the U.S. House of Representatives Intelligence Committee as one of Bunga new worker start for the Porsche worker when we say threatening Trump presidency, even as they say a war run again for the 2020 election. William Taylor and John Kent talk waiting they know for the pressure when we say Trump and the people do to get Ukraine to touchlight the Democratic political rival Joe Biden for one Democratic hearing when we say do worker of Democratic and Republican lawmakers against themselves.
I do not believe the United States should ask other countries to engage in selective, politically associated investigations or prosecutions. In mid-August, it became clear to me that Giuliani's efforts to gin up politically motivated investigations were now infecting U.S. engagement with Ukraine.
The member of my staff could hear President Trump on the phone asking Ambassador Sondland about the investigations. Ambassador Sondland told President Trump the Ukrainians were ready to move forward. Following the call with President Trump, the member of my staff asked Ambassador Sondland what President Trump thought about Ukraine. Ambassador Sondland responded that President Trump cares more about the investigations of Biden, which Giuliani was.
The Hong Kong Education Bureau don't talk say they will suspend classes from Friday to Sunday for all schools for Hong Kong because of transportation palaver. When we say be the same move for Thursday. The Bureau tells students may they come out hand from Wahala. Anti-government will not go grip people paralyze part of Hong Kong for one fourth straight day on Thursday as they force schools to close and also they block highways and other transport links to stop the financial hub because of the gbege. The next one, now our business news.
Welcome to Tea Time on Plus TV Africa, where we bring you the biggest entertainment stories and, of course, analyze them for you.
You can have both parents and still end up as a useless child. I see them every day.
Most times I worry more about where I'm coming from and where I am now, and that determines my next step.
Why are you sounding like
Alibaba
now?
Plus TV Africa, we're feeling good. No time to dull, everybody feeling alright.
Make music and people are still buying. Sometimes I look myself minimal IU.
Akpala music is for mature-minded people. I got DMs sometimes from Malawi, like,
sleeping early.
I say Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell on Wednesday pushed back against one favorite talking point of Oga President Donald Trump as they tell Congress say the negative interest rate when say President Trump they bring don't make sense for U.S. economy with the way when we say they grow, when we say be strong labor market and steady inflation. The Reserve talked the course of one 90-minute hearing before the Joint Economic Committee when we say do plenty waka to pull them enter pre-election year politics. As they say, the Fed job will not be to set trade immigration or federal spending policies. When we say go away for Democratic candidate, wet tax, and other proposals, on bring out credit for the U.S. economy record-setting expansion, when we say don't they there for 11 years. But the federal chief no put body for the economies of the negative rate of the interest, when we say countries like Switzerland and Germany, they pay for their government bonds.
The outlook is still a positive one. There's no reason this expansion can't continue, and there's a lot of value in continuing it. We're seeing this the 11th year of an expansion, now the longest in U.S. recorded history. What we're seeing is that income gains are the highest at the lower end of the wage scale. And so it's very positive. We're also seeing people being pulled back into the labor market. There's a lot to like about this rare place of the 11th year of an expansion. And I think we're certainly committed to doing what we can to extend it. We've been hearing now for a year and a half from companies, and I think this is fairly widely accepted now, that tariffs, but to an even greater extent, uncertainty around future trade policy is for now. It has been weighing on business sentiment and is probably part of the global slowdown in manufacturing, in business investment, in exports, in trade.
The federal government on Wednesday don't say they're going to employ 75,000 agricultural extension workers to ginger farmers for the production of agro commodities. They say inaugurate the National Fish Association of Nigeria with the mind say they will boost domestic fish production as they don't take a close Nigeria borders to fish import and orders. The Minister of State for Agriculture and Rural Development, Mustafa Shekuri, Esheuri talked the government plan to employ 75,000 workers from Maduguri, Borno State, for a tour of facilities of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development for the Northeast. He said the FMAD is ready to give solution to all the challenge for the agricultural sector based on the mandate they received from the president. Still ahead on Top Plus TV Africa News, now we're round up for entertainment and sports with the show back.
Far away in a foreign land, they have embarked on a new adventure. What challenges will they confront? What pleasures will they experience?
Is to be the best in this competition because I really want to show the Africans how beautiful they are. Amazing!
A brand new life with all possibilities. Nigerians in China on StarTimes.nkoa.
On to entertainment, they say what Disney co-shares don't get high record after the entertainment firm say their new streaming service, Disney Plus, don't meet with extraordinary consumer demand as it reached 10 million sign-up for their first day. The strong performance when NBC add $18 billion to their market capitalization, it don't position Disney as leading player for the streaming wars against industry organs like Netflix Incorporated and Amazon.com. Combined with Disney other streaming business Hulu, when we say they get 26.8 million subscribers, and ESPN Plus, when we say they serve 3.5 million subscribers, they say the company they serve 40.3 million viewers for the United States compared to about 60 million for Netflix. All right, that one of entertainment. The next one, now for sports.
I actually moved back to Nigeria to open a bakery. This was my goal, and everything I did up till this point was in preparation for this. First of all, life was great because I moved in 2015 right before the recession, right? It was awesome. I was like, wow, there's so much money out here, man. The cost of overheads, power generation, water, you have to be your own local government. And there are no tax breaks. Many places where, where they realize the small business environment is difficult would offer some kind of tax breaks and incentives. We don't do that out here. We want you to come back. We want you to, to start businesses here, but we're not going to do anything to help you. All my experiences in the past have led me ultimately to where I am now.
And for sport, they say Super Eagles Oga Koshile Ghana throw on Wednesday say Nango happy pass if you win the 2021 African Cup of Nations AFCON give Nigeria. Ra Wemby say yarn for one post-match conference inside Uyo after a team show from behind to win the Squares of Benin Republic 2-1. And so you can say winning AFCON 2021 a big thing Wemby say they in mind. He said go happy well for him to win the 2021 AFCON title with Nigeria. And he said that one are waiting go like and then go make him happy pass. The Nigeria versus Benin game na 2021 AFCON qualifier and it happened for the Godswill at Akpabio International Stadium inside Uyo. Whereas say Benin Republic gets good team, and still say the Niger side get good game for the second half.
It has given more confidence to Nigeria in second half. It was very hard. We didn't. We have been wasting many balls when we win it. So we have given the ball all the time to Nigeria, and at one time our players were able to make difference. So it was a case. So in the end, we have tried to recover and to be back in the game. We have an opportunity in the end of the game. So that's a defeat. We know it's logical. There is a difference between Nigeria and Benin. But okay, we have fought as much as we can.
We are happy about this victory. We knew already before the match that it would be very difficult because Benin has one of the best organizations defensively. And they made the quarterfinal also in the AFCON, and we saw them playing. They eliminated Morocco. They have a very, very good team. But when you play after arriving, after a long traveling, for some players even the last night traveling and have to play, so it's not easy. And they need some time to come in the match. Unfortunately, there was this first goal coming very quickly, and that was a shock for my team, and we had to recover from this shock. But with the time and with our technical attitude, which was very good, we were able to make them tired. And in second half then, after this penalty, who were coming in the best moment to come in the halftime with this 1-1, then in the second time we played a good match, like we did in our last matches already. We have now a style of playing football which is very interesting, a lot of movement, one touch, two touch, quick wingers, young players, and I think that in the second half we even could score a third goal. But I'm happy about this 2-1. When you start the game with 0-1 and then you come back and win it, it's very interesting for the team. And you go crescendo in the match. That is always good. I'm happy to see also that the two changes I made since Brazil game, bringing in Ola Aina and Kalu, these two players did very well also. So it's good for the team to know that even other players can come. There is competition for the starting positions, and this is very good for us.
All right, and now we will get from the 0 o'clock for News on the Hour for Plus TV Africa. For better and plenty information, follow us at Plus TV Africa for Facebook, for Twitter, and for Instagram. And go make sense when I subscribe to our YouTube channel at Plus TV Africa. Go still the Saban and plenty other to read them as time they go. My name, I promise, Nero. And I thank the website that join us on Well Done.
That money will shoot every person that we know can shoot. We don't let people die there.
You could have killed us for a long period of time.
At that time why I carry gonorrhea. I first go hospital first, but it no go. Now I come make that mama. She just pulled it, he pointed, and shot.
What is the soul of a man?
They suffer too much. They suffer too much.
Issues around the Nigerian police, we have to tackle it holistically.
do not understand, we will stigmatize.
What you can see is the remaining of the tanker that exploded.
He suffered equally confessed.
A 500 naira they collect am. If you no talk, dem go beat you. Na 2,500 dey pay.
Hey, what's up, guys? You're welcome to another edition of Plus Events, and I remain your host, Ifeoluwa Oshukeye.
Your absence isn't an excuse anymore, as Plus Events is all you need, as we bring you the glitz, the glamour, and loads of fun.
Oh, definitely. Right, no question. He's a living legend.
Oh, God forbid, Holy Ghost fire, I know.
I just want to be blown away. I want to be wild. This is 11 years of doing it.
I'm surrounded by so much positivity.
No, it's okay.
Yo, what's up, my people? It's your boy Starboy Terry. You're watching
Plus Event on Plus TV.
Stay glued to Plus TV Africa every Saturday and Sunday, 4:30 p.m. West African time.
I actually moved back to Nigeria to open a bakery. This was my goal. And everything I did up till this point was in preparation for this. First of all, life was great because I moved in 2015 right before the recession, right? It was awesome. I was like, wow, there's so much money out here, man. The cost of overheads, power generation, you have to be your own local government. And there are no tax breaks. Many places where they realize the small business environment is difficult would offer some kind of tax breaks and incentives. We don't do that out here. We want you to come back. We want you to, to start businesses here, but we're not going to do anything to help you. All my experiences in the past have led me ultimately to where I am now.
Politics has helped shape the decision of the polity, from conspiracy theories to good old-fashioned comic politics.
These are the results of tomorrow's election. Okay, you have it already, have you?
I think we've done very well in the very difficult circumstances in which we took over governance.
Plus, politics will fill the polls of the country, from friends to frenemies, even strange bedfellows, to clones and stooges. We go beyond the rhetorics and the drama to analyze the story behind the story.
Let everybody come and say.
The perception in itself does more harm than actual corruption that you have.
Plus Politics, not just another political show. It's about putting you, the citizens, in the know.
This Medan has been directed to empower 1,000 persons with disabilities in each state in the next 12 months.
When I start hearing the shoot of guns,
whatever I've done.
Every public policy has winners and losers, and some will not be very happy with you, while others, usually the silent majority, will be quite happy.
And we are live from Lagos, Nigeria. This is Plus Sports and Plus TV Africa, the show that brings you up to speed with everything happening in the world of sports. I've got Helema Davies on the show today, and he is the head product innovation to Reports Limited. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, then, of course, you can watch us on StarTimes channel 308 and channel 528. And, of course, you can also catch us online at www.plustvafrica.com. Follow us on social media at Plus TV Africa on Instagram and Twitter. And, of course, do subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Plus TV Africa. Let's start off with the game between Nigeria and the Benin Republic. The Super Eagles of Nigeria kicked off their race to qualify for the 2021 Africa Cup of Nations Championship in Cameroon with a win against the Squirrels of Benin Republic. Sessegnon scored the first goal for Benin in the 3rd minute, but Leo striker Victor Osimhen, the one we call the star boy, he pulled one back for Nigeria from the penalty spot in the dying moments of the first half. And Samuel Kalu scored from a brilliant effort in the 63rd minute to give Nigeria the lead. And Ahmed Musa came in for Victor Osimhen towards the end of the game. Now, this game between Nigeria and Benin Republic, yes, it was a must-win for the Super Eagles. We had a lot of rumors concerning the coach and the NFF concerning selection of players. There was also the issue of coverage of the match. A whole lot of good sides and bad sides to this game between Nigeria and Benin. I'd like to get your own opinion and your own view of everything that happened yesterday.
To start with, it is really commendable that the Super Eagles did start off on a very good note, winning the game against Benin Republic. It's unfortunate, however, that, like you mentioned, we had those instances, particularly that as regards Raw, his time as coach, rumors, speculations here and there, indicating that his time as the head of the Super Eagles is running down. But it's one which we don't want to see. Of course, there are question marks about his tactics, his tactical play, the technical performance of the team as a whole. But we must commend Raw, if at all, for one particular key element, and that is the fact that, and that is his man management style. It has really helped to ensure stability within the team, within the camp, across board, and in that interrelationship amongst the players. We hardly hear of squabbles or one misunderstanding here and there, like we've seen in recent past. So that is one aspect that has to be commended on the part of Raw in view of his time as head coach of the Super Eagles.
Now, still looking at that game, we can as well talk about the coverage. I mean, if you're going to cover a football match, you know that it's going to be a football match on that particular day. Why not put in your best effort to make sure that you give it the best of coverage? Because yesterday, from what we saw all over Twitter, all over social media, the football fans hammered on the TV station that covered the football match, and it was not good enough. But kudos to them that they even tried to put up a coverage for this match, but was the job even well done? Even at the end of the game, the commentator, that's the major one trending on Twitter now, the commentator said, Super Eagles 2, Nigeria 1.
I mean... it was all a comedy show for last night game. It was more of a comedy show than even a game of football match, yesterday. No thanks to the coverage from the NTA. I think the whole setting to this is not just about granting some media right or broadcast right to one major broadcaster, but it's down to the need of structure. We don't have a broadcast structure that would guarantee or ensure, competitive bidding or competitive interests for broadcasting of our games, and that needs to change. So it's even not just about the NFF. It's yes, the NFF has its role to play, but it's a lot to do with the broadcast code that this nation has on the table. It's dysfunctional, to say the least. It's not helpful. It's not competitive driven. And that in itself will not even influence or in any way positively affect the performance or the overall growth of our sports. So it's down to the broadcast code, that would identify key players, that would ensure competition, not just the issuance of the rights to one broadcast company, but competition that would at least we see stations like that we have across the world where one broadcaster can have rights to highlights. You know, another broadcaster has rights to the full match. Now, these are things that we want to see happening in our own culture, but we don't have that at the moment, and that is stifling the growth of our sports from the media point of view. So it really is important that we get to have a look at our broadcast code, but particularly we need to have a broadcast code that addresses sports, not necessarily captured within the broader context of television view, but sports in particular. There needs to be something that can drive that competition and ensure that players can come on board, something that will even give birth to more indigenous companies to come on board and participate. We can do what other broadcasters are doing on the continent. We can, once we have that environmental condition provided and open up for us to play in.
Talking about marketability of our sports, of our football in, not just football now, sports in general in the country. I mean, quick question now, from what we saw yesterday, do you think the VAR, the video assistant referee, can work in the Nigerian Professional Football League? Right now, no. It can't work. It's not just a good one. But then the coach, talking about Gernot Rohr, he had words to talk about. He had words to say after that game, talking about the press conference after the game between Nigeria and Benin Republic. Let's listen to Gernot Rohr and, of course, the coach of the Benin Republic side.
It has given more confidence to Nigeria in second half. It was very hard. We didn't. We have been wasting many balls when we win it. So we have given the ball all the time to Nigeria, and at one time our players were able to make difference. So it was a case. So in the end, we have tried to recover and to be back in the game. We have an opportunity in the end of the game. So that's a defeat. We know it's logical. There is a difference between Nigeria and Benin. But okay, we have fought as much as we can.
We are happy about this victory. We knew already before the match that it would be very difficult because Benin has one of the best organizations defensively, and they made the quarterfinal also in the AFCON, and we saw them playing. They eliminated Morocco. They have a very, very good team. But when you play after arriving, after a long traveling, for some players even the last night traveling and have to play, so it's not easy, and they need some time to come in the match. Unfortunately, there was this first goal coming very quickly, and that was a shock for my team, and we had to recover from this shock. But with the time and with our technical attitude, which was very good, we were able to make them tired. And in second half then, after this penalty, who were coming in the best moment to come in the halftime with this 1-1, then in the second time we played a good match, like we did in our last matches already. We have now a style of playing football which is very interesting, a lot of movement, one touch, two touch, quick wingers, young players, and I think that in the second half we even could score a third goal. But I'm happy about this 2-1. When you start the game with 0-1 and then you come back and win it, it's very interesting for the team, and you go crescendo in the match. That is always good. I'm happy to see also that the two changes I made since Brazil game, bringing in Ola Aina and Kalu, these two players did very well also. So it's good for the team to know that even other players can come. There is competition for the starting positions, and this is very good for us.
Welcome back to the show. We have a word from Geno Raw right there, and he talked about the selection. And before the game, there was a bit of selection headache, and I would heard the rumors between himself and the NFF. But I hope that is all resolved now. Now let's go over to the Nigerian Professional Football League. There are rescheduled games that will be coming up later today. Enyimba will battle Nasarawa United. Rangers International will be up against Sunshine Stars, and Aqua United will be up against Abia Warriors. Now looking at the Nigerian Professional Football League. We've had 2 weekends of interesting football, but how would you want to assess the NPFL so far since it started? Without TV broadcast, without sponsorship, and there's a particular coach who is speaking of the VAR being introduced in the league.
Let's start from the coach. You know, of course, we want to see technology introduced, just as we're seeing already in other climes. But the truth is, right now, with certain financial challenges that we are seeing with regards to the league, it's going to be difficult to introduce the VAR. Very, very difficult. We don't have the platform. We really have not dealt with the credibility of our referees. As much as we should. And that in itself will also put a question on the credibility on the use of technology, not just VAR, on technology, because we also have to consider goal line technology as well. So it's going to be a question mark on the credibility of the use of technology if we do not address the credibility of referees. Now, from the league itself, fine, we're back in play, but truth be told, we need to be able to measure the interest of many Nigerians, you know, towards the league, given the fact that we've been off air and we've been out of play for quite some time. And that is disheartening. You know, I know when the momentum was up, when SuperSport still had the rights, we could tell, you know, from social media engagement that people were watching, even though people were not impressed with the quality of play, the quality of coverage in a lot of regards, you know, but people were watching. People were thronging down to stadiums to see these games, but now that's not the case. There's a lot of interest. If we want to look at it from the very, there's a lot of interest, but if we actually want to drill down to the audience measurement, you know, attendance at stadium, then there's a lot of concern because the game is built around 2 key players: the football athletes themselves and fans. And if you don't have that synergy of relationship between the football players and the fans, then what league are we talking about?
Very sad right there. And still talking about the Nigerian Professional Football League. Well, we got an announcement yesterday from the LMC, that's the league management company, that they have sealed a 5-year multi-million naira deal with a digital TV company and on the production of the Nigerian Professional Football League contents for both local and international markets. Now, we're hearing that they're aiming to, the 5-year deal is they're aiming to produce $200 million within the next 5 years, which was consummated yesterday in Abuja between the LMC chairman, Shehu Diko, the chairman of Next TV Digital Print, Ado Ibrahim, and of course, Olaiwola Onofowokon. And Diko lauded the partnership by noting that it is only Nigerians that redeem the country. He also said the technicality of the deal will produce an NPFL content which can be distributed to more than 20 million Nigerians in diaspora. On paper, this is a good deal. It's supposed to showcase the NPFL to the world. But are we ready for this?
On paper, it's not a good deal.
Wow.
It's not the best of deals at all. It's not.
But it's something to start with.
It's nothing to even consider.
Okay.
Honestly speaking, I won't want to go into certain details, but let me just hint at this. To start with, this is more or less a giveaway, just like the previous deal with the initial broadcaster. It's like a giveaway. There was no bidding process. There was no call of interest from broadcast players. So where do we start from? As in the multi-million naira or multi-million dollars, whichever currency they choose to want to measure the value. Yeah. It's even chicken feed, so to speak, to if we had a more competitive structure around the league. So we're not even getting the best of the valuation of the league per se, and that is a huge concern as regards the broadcast rights and broadcast value of the league. So it's more or less an attempt, so to speak, to keep people from making noise about not having the league on TV than really pursuing a process that would guarantee that we see the emergence of rights bidders that would look at the value of the EPL alone.
Exactly.
Domestically, that's domestically, let alone international rights. You know, it's the value is not similar.
Yeah.
For the home league, for the domestic market, it's huge based on the competitive bidding. Now, if we introduce bidding into our process, we know, okay, this person might come and say, I want to drop 500 million naira. The next person comes and say, no, it's 1 billion naira. That would actually say, oh, this person wants to drop 1 billion naira. Let me actually do something, take it out of the league of the competition.
True.
You know, and that way we can actually begin to say, oh, okay, we have the key elements that would ensure that clubs get something coming to them from the broadcast rights, you know, that we're actually going to be putting on paper. So it's really more or less as in a giveaway of our league to unknown group of persons or company, you know, that doesn't guarantee that many Nigerians, at least a significant number in the population, will get to see the league. It's not guaranteed.
You know, why I said it's something to start with is because at least at the point that we are in the NPFL, we can grab anything that we can lay our hands on, because there's no sponsorship in the league and we don't have TV coverage. Now we have this kind of sponsorship, or rather the deal coming to play. The league will get to see this on TV. We don't know which of the channels now, but we'll get to see it. But on the part of the football clubs and the fans and whichever arena they'll be playing at, it will help the fans comport themselves, because we know that we can see these games on TV. Violence will be reduced a bit. I'm not saying it will be totally taken out of the league, but it will be reduced. We'll also see more of TV coverage. We'll see these players, because most of the coaches are saying that the reason why these players cannot get to perform or rather feature in the Super Eagles is because the league is not functional. And we can testify with the way they performed at the CHAN competition. It was woeful, because we used more of the home-based players and they had nothing we had nothing to write home about, because the performance was poor. So I think this deal would help us bring the league to light, and the world can actually see what we're doing in the country. Then we can better the performance of our local league.
Okay, so here's the thing, because like you mentioned, what TV are we going to have this on? We don't know the platform.
True.
And if you're saying digital, you know, digital broadcast, the question is, how many Nigerians really do view sports generally via digital broadcasting? That number we don't even have, we don't know. So it's even a problem for brands who want to indicate interest for sponsorship, you know, because you cannot measure the eyeballs for a game, let alone the entire season of the league. So that in itself is a challenge, because if you cannot guarantee that this supposed broadcaster is going to be on this platform that people can at least relate with, that, oh, say they're on Start Time, say they're on DSTV, say they're on GoTV, you know, whichever platform, then that in itself is a problem. The question is, where do they go to? Are we going to see an introduction of another platform? You know, and will people, we know what happened with another home African-based broadcast company,
yeah.
You know, Kwesi, you know, suddenly they're out of the market. Because there's a whole lot of dynamics in play, you know, when it comes to these things. And if things are not gotten right, then it is already set to fail. This is not a matter of seeing a bad light about everything happening. But it's a case of, if we're not getting things done the right way, then we're already setting ourselves for failure. And that is terrible.
We just hope that eventually things are done right in the Nigerian Professional Football League, and of course with the LMC, the league management company, to help the league to be run better. But let's switch over to Europe and talk about the former Arsenal manager, Arsene Wenger. He's returning to the game of football, but present now as FIFA's new chief of global football development. And the former Arsenal manager accepted FIFA's offer more than 2 months after it was first reported, and 1 week after he was approached by Bayern Munich about the German champions' vacant head coach job. He will oversee the rules-making panel known as IFAB, coaching programs and technical analysis of games at FIFA tournaments. And the 70-year-old Frenchman effectively replaces Marco van Basten, who was FIFA technical director until October 2018. Arsene Wenger, rumors from left, right, and center. At first, he was supposed to be PSG sports director. They wanted him to go over to Juventus. They wanted him to be the manager at Bayern Munich. I think this is a way better opportunity for him to accept than taking up a coaching role. Because going over to Bayern Munich, I do not think he has, though he's a very, very good manager, but I think he has done too much for football to still remain a coach. So I believe this is the best place for him to be.
Honestly, you know, even talks of Bayern Munich, PSG, right now we can only consider them as being speculative, because I'd seen the story about Arsene Wenger assuming this position over 2 months ago.
Yeah.
So it's even surprising that it's actually coming this late.
Yeah.
The announcement is coming this late. So perhaps maybe, yes, it could give some life to the fact that he was considering other options and opportunities. But that said, Arsene Wenger is way better an option than even Marco van Basten. There's nothing to throw Van Basten, you know, as regards what he's introduced to football. And its development. But Arsene Wenger, English Premier League owe a lot to him. You know, for instance, the kind of diet he introduced Arsenal players to when he joined the team, how he reduced their travel time. You know, they stopped using buses, stopped using trains, started flying certain distances. You know, and the use of certain technical equipment. You know, for training. Now, these are things that even other clubs began to emulate, and they began to see the results. So it's really key to see, and it really is good and applaudable that we have someone in the person of Arsene Wenger holding up to this position. So the football stands to gain a lot more from this man. And truth be told, we will see a lot. Like seeing the fact that he will be in charge of IFAB. Now that is a very important institution within football community. So it's really is important that Arsene Wenger is the one that is to head that position.
All right, congratulations once again to Arsene Wenger for taking up that position, and I will see how effective he will be. I'm very sure he will do a good job in that one. And to Bayern Munich, well, we wish them well in their search for a new manager. And back at Arsenal's, Arsene Wenger's former club, as Arsenal, Unai Emery still remains the manager at that club. He's not leaving yet. This is what the board has said, that they are still backing him until things go totally sour. Then they can make a decision. Now let's wrap up with the Lion himself, Zlatan Ibrahimovic. He said, I came, I saw, and I conquered. Talking about him playing at the MLS. He's done playing football in US. He's moving on to the next chapter, and he just might be going back to AC Milan. I mean, Zlatan is one man that I can't find the right words to use in qualifying Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Probably you do.
I'm not his biggest fan, truth be told, but that doesn't take away the admiration I have of him. For the MLS alone, 52 goals in 56 appearances.
Crazy.
Now that is humongously brilliant from this man. You know, when you were saying this is one man, I was expecting the word army to follow it. He's one-man army on his own, and you know, Zlatan has done a lot for football. He has done a lot for the performance aspect of football. And AC Milan, if it's true that they are going for him, and there's discussions going on between his party and them, then that is one win for AC Milan, because right now they could do with all the confidence they can get from key individuals like Zlatan. He knows the environment, he knows the conditions, he's applied his trade there, so it's something that will be welcome, you know, going forward. They are right now at a very critical aspect of their play, you know, given their history, and they need to come up. So definitely they will need. Definitely, if he moves in there, he might not get as regular time as he would. He might. He might not.
When he went to Manchester United, he actually told the manager then that, look, if I'm going to play for your club, the first thing first, I need that number 9 jersey. And at that time, it was Anthony Martial who was wearing the jersey. I need a number 9 jersey, and I'm going to be a regular in the club. And lo and behold, Anthony Martial got into a mood swing, and nobody even cared about Martial. They had to feature Zlatan, and he did deliver the results. He delivered for Manchester United. Yeah. So going over to AC Milan, I feel like he would get a starting position in AC, especially when he comes in, probably the first 2-3 games, he scores goals. He will get a starting role in AC Milan.
Well, perhaps he won number 11, so maybe that might be anything. You know? But notwithstanding, as in, whether he gets a starting role or he's not a starter, he will bring a lot to the firepower of AC Milan. They need something like that at this time.
Now, as we go, let's look at Zlatan Ibrahimovic in one-man army. Why have we never, or why have we not in recent times, put him in the class of Ronaldo and Lionel Messi?
I think to a great extent, his antics and attitudes have not really helped him. It's just the same thing like Luis Suarez. We will mention him among the greatest, but we won't really mention him in the same breath as we mention Ronaldo, Messi, even Maradona, Pelé. These are players that have more or less been categorized into one box. You know, these are more or less as an outside or outliers. But they've not been considered in the same frame or the same breath as Ronaldo and Messi. It's more of their antics and behavior, which has not really been appealing to so many people. Zlatan, through his youth until now, it's just like saying Balotelli. You know, by the time he's older, he might be one of the greatest strikers in the world, but he will not be considered a great, so to speak, you know, and it's because of that on-field behavior. So this is something that a lot of young players need to really consider and see how because if you want to be the great, then you have to really be able to control yourself. I know, yes, Zlatan's attitude is what gives him that drive, but not many people actually do have that appeal for him if he really considers it.
All right, for Zlatan Ibrahimovic, congratulations on his achievement right there at MLS, not just in the MLS, in the EPL as well, and of course the Spanish La Liga and the Italia Serie A. I think he has played in the top 5 leagues in Europe, even in Paris Saint-Germain. He has also played, and so good one for Zlatan. We're looking forward to his next club, probably AC Milan, and we'll be rest assured that we will get to watch him.
Or back to Man U.
No, I don't think that will happen. Well, that's how we draw a wrap on today's show. Thank you for coming to the studio.
Thank you for having me.
All right, keep it locked down to Plus TV Africa. I'm Udoka Njoko. Do enjoy the rest of your day.
Many thanks for joining us. The news in the hour on Plus TV Africa. Here are some of the stories making the headlines. President Muhammadu Buhari on Wednesday in London met with the management of Pearson Educational Group. The special advisor to the president on media, Femi Adesina, made the disclosure on his Facebook page. The president's media aide, who also posted the pictures of the meeting on the page, said that the Minister of Education, Adamu Adamu, and the Executive Secretary of National Universities Commission, NUC, Abubakar Rashid, attended the meeting. Also in attendance was the Nigerian High Commissioner to the UK. The National Working Committee, NWC, of the All Progressive Congress, APC, has upheld the suspension of the party's national chairman. The party's state chairman in Edo State, Anselm Ojezua, by 11 to 16 members of the State Working Committee. In a statement signed by its National Publicity Secretary, Larry Issa Odnilu, the party said that the party's State Working Committee had fulfilled the required conditions after it reviewed the process that led to the chairman's suspension. According to him, the NWC's objective and course of action is strictly to address the root causes of the disputations and reconcile all parties to make the party even stronger. The party spokesman said that the political development within the party ranks in Edo was deeply disturbed by the recent turn of events. The All Progressive Congress APC Governors Forum has called on the party's national chairman Adams Oshiomhole to call for National Executive Council meeting to resolve the party's challenges. In a statement signed by its Director General Saliu Lukman in Abuja on Wednesday, the forum said that Oshiomhole should either respect the provision of party constitution and convene a meeting to deliberate on the party's challenges. They regretted the National Executive Council of the party, which is the organ vested with the statutory responsibility of responding to all these challenges, appeared to be suspended. The governors are displeased. The NWC as of today is a shadow of itself, as it has lost many members either on account of appointment into government or controversial suspension. Still on the Edo State crisis, the state chapter of the PDP has again criticized Governor Godwin Obaseki, describing his tenure as a hardship phase for the people. Addressing a news conference on Wednesday in Benin, the chairman of the PDP in the state, Dan Obe, said the governor had failed to offer leadership to make the people enjoy the dividends of democracy. According to the PDP chief, the governor should face governance and stay out of the endless crisis rocking the state chapter of the APC. He lamented that Obaseki's administration in 3 years had only brought agony and deprivation to the populace, denied them the benefits expected from democracy. The PDP chief then also advised Obaseki to desist from the yearly jamboree of inviting people for talks in the name of marking anniversary, but to channel resources to tackling problems. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, has condemned and rejected the hate speech prohibition bill in the National Assembly, seeking stringent punishment, including death by hanging as penalty. The party, in a statement issued by its National Publicity Secretary, Kola Olubudio, on Wednesday in Abuja, said that inasmuch as the PDP did not condone hate speech under any guise, it regarded the bill as unconstitutional, undemocratic, and barbarous. He said that the provisions of the bill were deliberately hazy and nebulous, with the malicious intention to victimize innocent Nigerians. The spokesman said that the bill was targeted at official extermination of voice of dissent and perceived opposition. He said that Nigeria already had enough constitutional provisions and extant laws to safeguard a sane and healthy public expression space, adding that such law could not find its way into Nigeria. The bill was rejected in the Senate in 2018, only for it to be reintroduced. Now, the candidate of the All Progressive Congress APC for the March 9 Oyo State governorship poll, Bayo Adilabu, says he has decided to approach the Supreme Court in his bid to reclaim his mandate. The Court of Appeal ruled on Monday that the appeal he filed against the Election Petitions Tribunal's dismissal of his petition challenging the Independent National Electoral Commission's declaration of Governor Seyi Makinde of the People's Democratic Party as the winner of the poll subsists. An APC candidate on Wednesday said in his first official reaction to on his verified Facebook account that the judgment had further rekindled our hope in both the electoral and judicial processes in our march to keep a date with history. He said the appeal court has set the tone of righting the wrong, urging the people of Oyo State to hold the peace and go about their lawful activities as the party approaches the Supreme Court to validate the victory. Justice Ijoma Ojukwu of the Federal High Court in Abuja on Tuesday gave the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, until March 2020 to have the former Minister of Petroleum Resources, Dazani Alison Madueke, extradited to Nigeria. The commission had in November 2018 filed 13 counts of money laundering against the ex-minister, accusing her of unlawfully taking into possession $39.7 million and 3.32 billion naira, with which she allegedly bought choice properties in Abuja, Lagos, and Port Harcourt in Rivers State, where she was in office. When the matter came up before her on Tuesday, the judge threatened to strike out the money laundering case should the anti-corruption agency fail to produce the defendant in court by March 2020. The judge said, "My docket is not going to be a waiting room for the prosecution. I will give you one more adjournment. If nothing happens on the next date, I will strike it out." Dazani had been in the United Kingdom facing corruption investigation since 2015 when she left office as minister. Counsel to the third defendant in a suit filed by the EFCC against Murtala Nyako, former Adamawa State governor, and others, has appealed to the Federal High Court Abuja to order the EFCC to produce 3 of its witnesses for cross-examination. The counsel made the oral application on Wednesday before Justice Okonabag. While Nyako is the first defendant, his son, Senator Abdulaziz Nyako, is the second, while Zulkifli Abba is the third defendant in the case. The EFCC had charged the former governor, along with others, with 40 billion naira fraud. They were arraigned on a 37-count charge bordering on money laundering allegedly perpetrated while Nyako was the Adamo State governor. Still in court matters, the Court of Appeal sitting in Calabar has upheld the victory of Governor Udom Emmanuel of Akwa Ibom State in the March 9, 2019 election. The five-man panel, presided over by Justice Adzira Ghana, in a unanimous judgment agreed with the lead judgment read by Justice Tunde Owotoye. The court also awarded a cost of 500,000 naira against the appellant Nsima Ekere of the All Progressive Congress in favor of the first respondent, Governor Udom. The judgment read in part the appellants complained of irregularities in 756 polling units. They called a total of 43 witnesses, 17 of whom were polling agents. So, in over 700 units complained about, the appellant did not lead any evidence of non-compliance alleged. The court also held that when the result of an election is being questioned on the grounds of non-compliance with the provisions of the Electoral Act, it does not suffice to prove non-compliance without more. The petitioner must be able to go further to prove that the non-compliance was substantial and affected the result of the election. Meanwhile, Governor Udom Emmanuel has again dedicated his victory at the appeal court to God.
All of you witnessed the election that we said consistently. In 1999, the last election was an election that was done massively, incredibly, and transparently. That's why we said. So anybody who complained against the election was going to be mischievous. But if somebody wanted to be a governor and he failed the election in his own ward, his own local government, then where was he expecting to win the election? Was he expecting the court to manufacture vote for him? It is not possible. So for me, the result we have today was expected. It's a reasonable thing, very logically, on the basis of the law, on the basis of the fact, on the basis of what transpired on the 23rd day of, on the 9th day of March 2019. So it's obvious. We are only expecting him to go to the Supreme Court. Maybe after that, the World Court at Hague. I want people to remain very law-abiding. They should continue to support the government of Dr. Emmanuel, which is on the platform of PDP. PDP has developed this state from 1999 till today. No other party has done whatever we have seen in Akwa Ibom State.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, says collation officers for the November 16 Kogi governorship election will come from federal tertiary institutions outside the state. INEC Federal Commissioner for Voter Education and Publicity, Festus Okoye, told newsmen in Lokoja on Wednesday that drawing the officials from other states was part of efforts to guarantee the credibility of the poll. He said that INEC had exclusive rights to appoint collation officers from any part of the country, and assured that the Commission was collaborating with security agencies to secure the electoral staff and collation centers on Saturday. He said that INEC is fully ready to go ahead with the election on Saturday, adding that all the electoral officials and ad hoc staff had been fully trained and ready to be deployed. Now, barely 3 days to the governorship election in Kogi, police in the state have ordered immediate seizure of all vehicles without number plates of the Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC. The Commissioner of Police, Akim Busari, who gave the order in Lokoja on Wednesday, said owners of vehicles with covered number plates should also remove them or have them impounded by policemen. The police chief, who spoke to newsmen after a security meeting of some heads of security agencies in the state, also ordered policemen attached to politicians and political office holders to withdraw themselves from such duty latest Friday morning. He said that all borders with neighboring states would be shut by 12 midnight on Friday. Restriction of vehicular movement will be enforced in the state from 12 midnight of November 15 to 6 p.m. of November 16. The news continues after the short break. Unknown gunmen killed 6 farmers near Tanzania's southern border with Mozambique, a senior police official said on Wednesday, amid growing concerns over Islamist militants in a poor region where foreign companies are developing gas deposits. The ambush on Tuesday night on an island in the Ruvuma River that forms the border between the two countries is the latest in a spate of execution-style attacks in the area since 2017 that have so far killed more than 100 people. The gas deposits are in the northern Mozambican province, Cabo Delgado, and researchers have found that the militants who are based there and launch attacks on both sides of the border have links to Islamist groups in Tanzania, Somalia, Kenya, and the Great Lakes region, where some also received training. And the United States on Wednesday said it was gravely disappointed with South Sudan's failure to form a unity government by a November 12 deadline and would re-evaluate its relationship with the African nation's government. The U.S. State Department spokeswoman Morgan Ortagus said the U.S. will work bilaterally and with the international community to take action against all those impeding South Sudan's peace process, adding that the United States would also seek to establish a new paradigm to achieve peace and a successful political transition in South Sudan with others in the region. Up next is our foreign news.
Open accounts. We Get a Lot of Millions promo is back again, and this time it's bigger, better, and life-changing. Save your way to millions faster than you think. Open any Fidelity account with 20,000 naira, or top up your existing account with 10,000 naira, and stand a chance to win a whopping 1 million or 2 million in our monthly draw. That's not even all. Listen, there's more. Guess what? Open an account with 50,000 naira, or top up an existing savings account with 50,000 naira, and you could win 3 million naira. Fidelity Bank definitely did not come to play at all. Maintain an average balance of 200,000 naira, and you could win the grand prize of 10 million naira. I'm now a millionaire. I love Fidelity. You too can save your way to millions. Hurry to any Fidelity Bank and start saving today. Or simply scan the QR code on all promotional items to open an account and participate. Many consolation prizes and weekly cash prizes up for grabs.
We are Fidelity. We keep our word.
A lot of the jobs that exist today will not exist in the next 10 years.
When I see people today shouting, we're not too young to run, we are ready to run. Ready to run to where?
The people of excellence are, to a certain extent, being held ransom by idiots and bandits.
Once you are in government, you believe everything you do is right. And once you are in opposition, everything the government does is wrong.
And so it's time for us to take over power.
The top U.S. diplomat in Ukraine testifying on Wednesday is the first televised hearing of the impeachment inquiry against President Donald Trump, linked the president more directly to a pressure campaign on Ukraine to conduct investigations that would benefit him politically. William Taylor was one of the 2 career diplomats who testified before the U.S. House of Representatives Intelligence Committee as a crucial new phase began in the impeachment inquiry that threatens Trump's presidency, even as he seeks re-election in 2020. William Taylor and George Kent testified about their concerns about pressure by Trump and allies to get Ukraine to investigate Democratic political rival Joe Biden in a dramatic hearing that pitted Democratic and Republican lawmakers against each other.
I do not believe the United States should ask other countries to engage in selective, politically associated investigations or prosecutions. In mid-August, it became clear to me that Giuliani's efforts to gin up politically motivated investigations were We're now infecting U.S. engagement with Ukraine.
The member of my staff could hear President Trump on the phone asking Ambassador Sondland about the investigations. Ambassador Sondland told President Trump the Ukrainians were ready to move forward. Following the call with President Trump, the member of my staff asked Ambassador Sondland what President Trump thought about Ukraine. Ambassador Sondland responded that President Trump cares more about the investigations of Biden, which Giuliani was pressing for.
The Hong Kong Education Bureau has announced that all schools in Hong Kong will suspend classes from Friday to Sunday due to transportation disruptions following a similar move on Thursday. The Bureau urged students to stay away from violence. Anti-government protesters paralyzed parts of Hong Kong for a fourth straight day on Thursday, forcing school closures and blocking highways and other transport links to disrupt the financial hub amid a marked escalation of violence. Coming up next is our business news. U.S. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell on Wednesday pushed back against the favorite talking point of President Donald Trump, telling Congress that the negative interest rates sought by President Trump aren't appropriate for a U.S. economy with ongoing growth, a strong labor market and steady inflation. The Reserve Chair, over the course of a 90-minute hearing before the Joint Economic Committee, dodged several efforts to pull him into pre-election year politics, alternating saying that the Fed's job was not to set trade, immigration or federal spending policies, weigh in on Democratic candidates' wealth tax and other proposals, or dole out credit for the U.S. economy's record-setting expansion now in its 11th year. But the Fed chief did wade into the economics of the negative rates of interest that countries, including Switzerland and Germany, currently pay on their government bonds.
The outlook is still a positive one. There's no reason this expansion can't continue, and there's a lot of value in continuing it. We're seeing this the 11th year of an expansion, now the longest in U.S. recorded history. What we're seeing is that income gains are the highest at the lower end of the wage scale. And so it's very positive. We're also seeing people being pulled back into the labor market. There's a lot to like about this rare place of the 11th year of an expansion. And I think we're certainly committed to doing what we can to extend it. We've been hearing now for a year and a half from companies, and I think this is fairly widely accepted now, that tariffs, but to an even greater extent, uncertainty around future trade policy is for now. It has been weighing on business sentiment and is probably part of the global slowdown in manufacturing, in business investment, in export.
The federal government on Wednesday announced that it would employ 75,000 agricultural extension workers to motivate farmers in the production of agro-commodities. It also inaugurated the National Fish Association of Nigeria with the aim of boosting domestic fish production following the closure of Nigeria's borders to fish imports, among others. The Minister of State for Agriculture and Rural Development, Mustapha Shehuri, disclosed that the government's plan to employ 75,000 workers in Maiduguri, Borno State. He made this during his tour of facilities of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development in the Northeast. He also said that FMAD was determined to proffer solutions to all the challenges in the agricultural sector based on the mandate it received from the President. Still ahead on Plus TV Africa News is our roundup on entertainment and sports. We're back in a moment.
This is it for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Buki November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
Disney shares soared to a record high after the entertainment firm said its new streaming service, Disney Plus, had been met with extraordinary consumer demand, reaching 10 million sign-ups in its first day. A strong performance, which added $18 billion to its market capitalization, appears to establish Disney as a leading player in the streaming wars that pit it against industry leader Netflix and Amazon. Combined with Disney's other streaming business, Hulu, which has 26.8 million subscribers, and ESPN Plus, which serves 3.5 million subscribers, the company now serves 40.3 million viewers in the United States, compared to about 60 million for Netflix. That's it on entertainment. Sports news comes on after this break. Super Eagles head coach Gernot Rau on Wednesday said winning the 2021 African Cup of Nations AFCON for Nigeria would make him the most excited person. Rau, who spoke at a post-match conference in Uyo after his team came from behind to defeat the Squirrels of Benin Republic 2-1, said winning AFCON 2021 was a huge desire. It would be exciting for me to win the 2021 AFCON title with Nigeria. That's my desire, and I will be the most excited. The Nigerian versus Benin game was a 2021 AFCON qualifier, and it took place at the Godswin Akpabio International Stadium in Uyo. Rao said Benin Republic have a good team, also noted that the Nigerian side had a good game in the second half. And that's our news roundup of events at this hour. For more news updates, please follow us at Plus TV Africa on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel that is also at Plus TV Africa. I'll be back later with more stories making the headlines. Do please join us again. Thank you for your time.
When you find out that two children are actually kissing themselves in private or about to have sex or even they're having sex or anything that has to do with sexual activity, when you catch them pants down, when you catch them red-handed, what can you do? The first thing, I know it's a bit difficult, is never to panic. Once you panic, you have sent a message to the child that whatever the child is doing is horrible. And what that means is that it sends something into their mind and makes them have a very low self-esteem. Sometimes children don't even know that what they are doing is bad. Most of this behavior you see children do were learned from adults around them. So first thing, do not fret, do not shout, do not scream. Have it at the back of your mind that that behavior was learned in the environment. Then find out how they got to know what they were doing. One of the best way to do it is what we call pacing. So when you want to ask a question, when you want to ask a child about something, don't throw it at the child just like that. Don't ask the question why. The question why means you're being judgmental. Just politely try to find out how they came about that behavior. Then when they tell you, then ask them again. When they give you an answer, answer them with a question, so you keep, bringing out whatever they have in their mind. Then when you are sure that you already got enough information, it is our responsibility then to now teach them. Do never crucify them. I will tell you from my experience that children don't even know that what they were doing is bad. They just see adults doing it and they want to experiment. They don't understand that it is bad. So do not label them as bad. What you need to do is to teach them allow learning experiences. Tell them what you think this thing is about and why you don't want them to do it again. It's not for children. This will happen to you. Tell them the repercussions, the pros and cons. Children are reasoning beings. They will reason and think about it. And if they trust you enough, you have a good relationship with them from the beginning, they will listen to you. And ensure that you use that as a good opportunity to teach them sexuality and sex education, because that actually is an indication that they lack this education. So it's a very good opportunity for you to teach them, especially sometimes when they are watching TV and they see adults kissing or adults hugging each other. It's a very beautiful opportunity to ask them, just ask them, baby, what do you think they're doing? They will tell you, adults, they are kissing. So what do you think about adults kissing? So you don't tell them you should not kiss because you're an adult. Children don't reason like that. Ask them question. Why do you think they are kissing? Say because they are adult. So that means you're not an adult, you should not kiss. It is not for you. So those are the ways you pace the education of sex education and sexual abuse education. So we actually have age-appropriate sex education as well. If you ask me, if you want to teach a 2-year-old how on sexuality, is different from the way you teach a 10-year-old and different from the way you teach a teenager. So what our advice is, seek the help of professionals who can guide you on the things that you will tell a 2-year-old about sexuality and the 10-year-old and a teenager.
This is Plus TV Africa, where big stories live. Welcome to Tea Time, where we bring you the biggest entertainment stories and interesting personalities in the world of entertainment. My name is Elsie Godwin, and I'm here to drink and spill tea with my gang, Ewa Oluwa Oritu and Ife Oluwa Oshunkeye.
Gang, gang.
How
gang,
you doing?
gang.
We're good.
What's poppin', girl?
I'm all right. So you have the rules of her. Oh, this love is becoming sweeter.
Yeah.
Aww.
My money enter, I love the sweet.
Right. So money has entered?
Eh?
Oh, wow. Congratulations, guys.
No, I say when it enter.
Okay.
No, make sure never go get full.
Okay.
Let's do, managing,
Don't worry, it's
like,
okay. I'll build with you.
Yeah, you see? We're building a mansion, an empire, a dynasty. Should I go on?
Okay, so there is a revived drama in Nigerian entertainment industry, and it's between one of Nigeria's best exports, D'banj, and his former manager, Bankole. According to Gist.O, so I heard, it all started after an interview published by Pulse Nigeria a couple of weeks ago, where Bankole narrated how he introduced D'banj to Kanye West. Now, I think D'banj feels like there was a bit of a lie in that interview, and he went to Bankole's Instagram page to tell him to stop lying after Bankole, also known as Osha, made a post with the caption, quote, "Silence don't lie, there is truth in silence." D'banj responded saying, quote, "Then brother, keep quiet, and if you just must talk about me, speak the truth, enough lies." Bankole responded again saying, "What truth are you looking for at this stage of your life? Keep your energy for your career and loved ones, as you shall find the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Be safe, son." Okay, so in another post, Bankole did not end there. He went on to write, and let me just read this the way he put it. "Doing drugs will not help you but worsen your case. I heard about white powder, a shining prospect, and you use your bad character to bloat all away. It is never too late to go and seek truthfully the forgiveness and truth you seek. Look inward, change your lifestyle, stop lying to yourself that all is well, but go back to the source so that all can be well with you. You have done so much evil to many people that you both know of, that we both know of, and today I speak for them all." End of quotes.
Just go again on that white powder thing, because that is a serious
allegation.
Yes, because that is deep. Even if you know so much about somebody, I don't think that's something you should bring out there.
And as adults, I don't even expect this back and forth from both of them.
No. I even respect D'banj. Okay. But I've heard stories that the Banj's brother is also kind of involved in drugs, and now you're dragging the Banj into this because that went viral at some point. I think that was about 2017 or 2018 when they said he used his house friends and blah, blah, blah. And then you're bringing this on social media. I think it's totally unnecessary, especially with somebody that you've had a working relationship with. Now, if you want to advise somebody, I don't think the best way is by bringing them down or exposing their darkest.
Not advising him.
No. If you really, even if you feel that, okay, the Banj is on some substance, this is not the right place to come and start narrating that. I think that I have a big problem with that. And about what the Banj is saying, that speak the truth. That is, the Banj is denying it already. He has denied it, and he says
Denied which one? The substance then?
Yeah.
No, the band already said speak the truth before they started spilling. So the band is...
That's what I'm saying.
The band is yet to respond to this
the
one.
The substance story is not even an advice. It's just maybe publicly shaming him. That's why even if you know that dark side of him, like you said, I don't think it's right to come out.
That's if it's true.
Yeah, because this is very serious. I don't think somebody should even be saying this. And I mean, NGLA
can sue.
That's if he's not.
That...
No.
I'm just here to be the disclaimer.
All right, now, okay, let's face the scenario now. If the band decides to go to court and says, this guy just defamed me, defamation of character.
It will be defamation of character if he can prove that it is not true. So if Bankole has an evidence or a witness, or he knows that this is true, then there is no defamation of character anywhere.
It's me against you. Now, unless they're going to say that, okay, we're going to be...
You know, there's no video.
There's no video.
There's no picture.
No, what
I mean, these people they used to hang together, right?
Since it's been long.
So how are you sure there's no video?
I mean,
that is if and that is if not. I don't know, but yeah, one drama.
I just think Oshas are usually very, very intellectual, and they're always very, very smart. And I
don't understand. Is Osha not his nickname? Is that his real name?
Yeah, but it is a Orisha. It is like a short form of Orisha.
So
you know, someone you see as a demigod. Yeah. So and gods are supposed to be and gods are supposed to. You don't need to be smart. Gods are supposed to be smart. Gods are supposed to know it all. Do you understand? So if you call yourself an Orisha and then you're acting like a child, then I'm sorry, you're...
I mean, this is really...
How can we spell his name back? Yeah, Asho.
This is really messy, and I'm not liking what I'm seeing. But then imagine taking a shot at D'Banj's career. That man is already a legend. So,
he performs globally.
You get it? It's just wrong to take a shot at his career, but I feel both of them should sort this out and not do this.
And they are well-respected professionals that are known. I'm talking about, I don't want to call names, but I'm talking about certain CNN, anchors, that is public that they are on substances. Do you understand? And they haven't still been fired because they're good at their job. So I don't think it's a situation. I think it's a thing of choice for grown men. Do you understand? It's illegal, but at the same time, bringing it out on social media, that is just wrong.
I don't know where you went to right now, but let's move on to the next story. Korede Bello seems to be dropping some wisdom on his Twitter page. He tweeted, and I quote, "Unfortunately, some people have to die for you to move forward. The good news is that you don't have to kill them unless you are killing them with love." End of quotes. Yeah, so I get what he means. I mean, there are people that will just sit down and decide that until... if I do not agree, this person will not get this job, this person will not be promoted, this person will not do this person will not do that. But if God says it has to happen, and the only way for it to happen is for you to be removed, my dear, you're setting yourself up for trouble. So I think it's just best for everyone to live by Davido's slang. What does he say? We rise by lifting others. So don't deliberately be the stumbling block in the way of anybody's progress. It doesn't tell well on you, and it doesn't tell well on the person, and that other person will always find a way to survive. But you realize that you're sitting at a particular place trying to block someone, and in that way you're also not moving forward, because it is going to take a level of energy for you to be the stumbling block for someone, and it's going to also draw you down. So I get where he's coming from, but I hope people will listen.
I feel like people see life in different ways. Some people don't see it as maybe somebody have to die literally or die, whatever it is. Some people, like you said the other day, we were talking about bringing other people down and praying for your enemies. And you said you don't even care about them because at the end of the day, God is still going to put you where he wants to put you. Or your hard work. Some people that don't believe God will put you where, your hard work will put you where you're supposed to be. So people just see life differently. Maybe that's how he sees life and that's how he's handling it. That's okay. Other people might not see it that way. Other people might not agree with it. That's fine.
I think what I got from all of this is success is the best revenge. So even if somebody has tried to be a stumbling block in your life, he said you don't necessarily have to kill them literally, but kill them with love. Do you understand? And that love is, even though somebody has been bad to you, it doesn't mean you should go to their faces and rub it in when you become successful. Still be that person that would show somebody that was bad to you, that was unkind to you. Show them kindness, show them love, and let them feel like, after all I've done to this guy. I think revenge, I think success is the best revenge. So that's what it means by when you're killing them with love. So just smile in the faces, because I've always said it on the show, when one door closes, another one will open. And even if another one don't open, the window will be open, or the back door. We shall enter one way or the other, or it will break through the roof. One way or the other, we'll be in there. And then when we get to the top, we'll be there together, and then we're all smiling. And then I think that's just the killing them with love. It doesn't mean kill those people literally. You know your stumbling blocks, you know your problems in life. You know the people that are there, and you know the people that are not there for you. But at the end of the day, when you make it, it doesn't mean, pay them backwards in their own coin. Just do your thing and just be happy, because your sanity is the most important thing as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, and I'm saying don't be the one to be the stumbling block. Try. Don't be the one that devil is using. We're going on a quick break, but when we come back, we have guests in the studio.
My name is Tunile, and I'm a writer. Keep watching Plus TV Africa. Big stories live here.
This medal has been directed to empower 1,000 persons with disabilities in each state in the next 12 months.
We now start sharing the shoot of guns.
Every public policy has winners and losers, and some will not be very happy with you, while others, usually the silent majority, will be quite happy.
There's always lots to talk about on The Advocate. We don't like to keep you in suspense.
If we have 35 revolutions a year, it will register in people's minds that 35 times people got up to try to fight.
Don't abandon ship. What is in your hand?
If you think about that copper that was making chairs and tables, that is what his hands has found to do.
Now, a woman like Adadivo that you mentioned, why till today? Why can't we just give her this award?
China did not close their border and allow their presidents to go to America or London for medical treatment.
We're wasting our time on rice, and that's why every time I hear rice, I'm actually very angry.
TikTok, it's time to set things in motion.
No, you better not talk about it.
Politics has helped shape the decision of the polity, from conspiracy theories to good old-fashioned comic politics.
These are the results of tomorrow's election. Okay, you have it already, have you?
I think we've done very well in the very difficult circumstances in which we took over governance.
Plus, politics will fill the polls of the country, from friends to frenemies, even strange bedfellows, to clones and stooges. We go beyond the rhetorics and the drama to analyze the story behind the story.
Let anybody come and say.
The perception in itself does more harm
than actual corruption that you have.
Plus Politics, not just another political show. It's about putting you, the citizens, in the know.
I actually moved back to Nigeria to open a bakery. This was my goal, and everything I did up till this point was in preparation for this. First of all, life was great because I moved in 2015 right before the recession, right? It was awesome. I was like, wow, there's so much money out here, man. The cost of overheads, power generation, you have to be your own local government. And there are no tax breaks. Many places where they realize the small business environment is difficult would offer some kind of tax breaks and incentives. We don't do that out here. We want you to come back. We want you to, to start businesses here, but we're not going to do anything to help you. All my experiences in the past have led me ultimately to where I am now.
Big stories live here.
Hear the stories making the headlines.
Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria. I'm here at Yunus Bashoru Street where
the fire destroyed our transformer completely.
The lowest level you can.
This is Plus TV Africa. The big stories live here.
Big stories live here.
Big stories live here.
Hello guys, it's Femi Branch. Now keep watching Plus TV Africa. Big stories live here.
This is Tea Time on Plus TV Africa. On this episode, we'll be looking at the umbrella body of the actors in Nigeria, known as the Actors Guild of Nigeria. On the 31st of October 2019, an election was held in Akwa Ibom, which saw new executive members elected and some old executive members retaining their positions. Nollywood has grown over the years and is still growing. We are beginning to see better stories and better understanding of show business. What are the plans of the newly elected executive of the Actors Guild of Nigeria? What are they doing differently to better position Nollywood globally? We have the best people to share the association's vision with us and to discuss Nollywood. The president of the Actors Guild of Nigeria, Emeka Rolas, and the public relations officer of the Actors Guild of Nigeria, Mona Lisa Chinda Koka. Thank you for being here.
Thank
Welcome
you for having
to the
me.
show.
Thank you so
And
much.
congratulations on your election and your re-election.
Yeah. Election.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Will you be running for top 10?
Not for now.
Well, why did you feel the need to run again?
Yeah, the first tenure was an interim government. So it was like we used it to stabilize the guild from the crisis that, of course, crippled the association for over 5 years. Then, having set the motion, kind of in the 2 years, we used it to make sure that we had peace nationally, because before then we had crises, we had factions here and there. Now, having made sure that the guild was now on a path of moving forward, of course, it won't be rational for somebody who set this foundation not to begin to build the house. That was why I had to go for that run. If not, I would have just said, okay, since I've made peace, let somebody else come and do that. But I'll feel somehow if you stand outside and the person comes, he didn't have the blueprint, you know, of how that peace was achieved. He might mess it up some way again and we'll return back to the drawing board.
I may be wrong, but there's this general notion that not every actor or actress is a part of the Actors Guild of Nigeria. Like in the case of Liz Anjorin and Toyin Abraham, Tampan came to deny them to say that they're not even parts of the association to start with, so they can't get involved in their social media dispute at that time. So what are the criteria for actors to join the Actors Guild of Nigeria, and what do they stand to gain when they join that?
Oh, okay, let me put it straight. Your statement may be true, it may be wrong, from, you know, depends on where you are looking at it from. You know, initially when Nollywood started, it was just something that started by people. People didn't have information about most of these associations. And you know, if you want to help the people, you give them more information. Now, when Nollywood started, some of these associations came to be 20 years back. But then it was seen more or less like people gathering together at joints, drink, and all of that. They didn't even know the global impact made by such associations in terms of protecting their members in different kinds of cases. But over the years, the Nollywood industry expanded. It took more people, there were more crowd, then more stars, more celebrities were born. Then we began to let people know that these are the issues. If you suffer this kind of a thing, your association should be able to help you solve that problem. Now, the rights of an actor is very paramount. Most of these jobs that we do, I give you an instance. Somebody is being taken as, for instance, you are a role model for, you're an ambassador of a brand. And one morning the brand wakes up and says, you are no longer our ambassador. Ordinarily, before you do that, you should be able to give the actor 1 month that you want to change him or her. He or she will talk to his or her lawyers, they will talk about it. But because nobody knows that this is the right of the actor being trampled upon, you wake up one morning and say they have dropped you, either because you had issue with the managing director or you had issue with somebody in the company and all of that. But if you belong to a very strong association or union, these are the things they have to fight for you. More often than not, you find that a lot of actors, they will fall sick and they are looking for money, begging here and there. They didn't know that the association has health insurance programs, other insurance programs.
3,500 because I checked it. I saw that you're paying 18,500, 3,500 for the insurance.
Yes, and that's about it. So it's less than.
So are you paying that 3,500 monthly?
No, it's an annual thing.
It's an annual thing. So
because
it's
of the
once
number.
a year. Would that be enough? Like, let's Baba Suwe, for instance, when he was sick and all of that. That 3,500, do you think is enough? Don't you think that there should be more put into insurance? And I think this should be directed to you being the PRO. So I think you're in the best position to answer this question.
No, well, that is if every, you know, we have so many people in actors. We have lots of actors. I believe that if everybody really pay their due diligence, they actually get registered, pay your dues yearly, it will cover. And then we are also planning to partner with some of these medical centers that will also discount some of this stuff, bills for us. And that I think from what he has said, these are the things we want to put in place in our tenure and see how that will pan out. But by the special grace of God, if we stand on our grounds and get some of these actors registered, it will help ease some of this burden, some of these issues on our veterans.
Okay, talking about what you want to do in this particular tenure, what's like the greatest challenge you're facing in the Nollywood industry, and how do you intend to solve that?
I think that question should actually
it depends on where we're coming from. Having set the foundation now, we're about to start up. First of all, organizationally, anywhere in Nigeria today, you see people carrying cameras. This person tells them, I'm an actor. What have you done? We can't even identify who are actors. It's this time that we need to regulate the industry from our own perspective. We want to regulate. If you go to Asaba, different areas where they are making films, okay, it's good if you were an armed robber and you decided to change to become an actor. But it's bad if you become an actor and you continue being an armed robber. You understand the point? A lot of people come, okay, we have changed your life. Nollywood has changed your life. But because you're not getting enough pay from the job you have chosen to do, you still find these same people become actors in the afternoon and then become armed robbers again in the night.
Okay, that takes me back to what Pascal Atuma said about Nollywood actresses because of their luxurious lifestyle on social media, that most of them are prostitutes. And you came out to say that.
Exactly.
Why would you say such a thing from an industry you have benefited so much from? And if you can name one person who is a prostitute, and I think other people said that anybody that works for Pascal Atuma right now, then you must be a pimp or a prostitute. So now let's talk about that. Like, do you think this is true about the industry? Like, because there's really no unity, if you ask me. Is that the case?
It's far from being the truth. That was why I came out against Pascal Atuma. You know, generally, in the general parlance, some people will tell you, why I'm not a great actress today is because people have often asked me about my body. And I tell you, there's no industry in the world that there are no sexual harassment. Do you understand the point? So you cannot be exceptional about the actors. If you have done something with somebody who claims to be an actor, it's not enough for you to say. You saw the recent one in Canada about one lady. Sahara reporters that broke the news didn't mention her to be a Nollywood actress. But all the bloggers say Nollywood actress. I had to dig into it. And I found out that this lady hasn't acted in any film. And is not a member of the Actors Guild of Nigeria. So I quickly issued a statement. I said, look, and if I had kept quiet, the Canadian embassy would have begun to look at people who come with identification for actors to mean the same thing. So I quickly wrote the embassy. I even put a call across. I said, look, don't do this thing to us. You understand? Every industry, they have their challenges, you know. So if you met a prostitute who decided to disguise herself and say, I'm an actress, you didn't verify. If the prostitute dupes you, you now run back and say, one Nollywood actress duped me. You don't generalize issues. Do you understand?
In your first tenure, you launched the AGN launched a mobile app.
Mobile app, yes.
And became an affiliate to the Federal International
FIA. No, we've been affiliated since 2011.
And I mean, we could see the progression.
Yeah.
What is the plan going forward? Because even if you want to do a lot, you have to start from somewhere and have like a plan. So what do we expect in this
in this new tenure?
Yeah.
Like I just told you, you know, we've been having challenges getting things done for actors. We are trying to build an emporium for Actors Guild of Nigeria and somewhere in Abuja. We are looking outside the box. We don't want to depend on paying dues and paying that before we're able to solve the problem of our actors. We're trying to launch deeply. The AGM Foundation, we just set it up. We have not done the official launch. And we intended, because we're partnering with some foreign organizations on health HMO, so that it will no longer be, just like you mentioned the case of Babasue, apart from the insurance payment you are making, if you have a very good understanding with foreign organizations on HMO, there are issues they can deal with outright, even if it is 20 million naira.
That's right.
We want to consolidate on these things, knowing that AGN is not a body that is profit-making. So you will not say particularly anything we needed to do has to come to how much do you have, how much finances do you have. So I want to see that we think outside the box and create all of these areas, get enough funding. So whatever you decide to do, you can just go ahead and do it. Then people begin to understand. But what we need to drive right now is that there are about 40% of practitioners, actors I now speak, who are in the creek in different places in Nigeria that do not know what the Actors Guild of Nigeria is all about.
Okay, there's a question if I asked that you've not answered and we need to go, but I need you to answer that question. What does it take to be part of the AGN? Aside paying the dues, what are the criteria? Is it I have to just decide that I want to be an actor then, or what is the criteria?
No, basically, if you are an actor already or you want to be, you just go to the app.
Okay.
Open to the
so it's open for all.
Once you are done,
a lot of people are not enlightened about.
We'll now take you for the screening procedures, and then
that's it.
Do you want to share a bit of the screening procedure?
Of course, we'll have to find out who you are, where you're coming from, and all of that. And what you can do
Okay,
then.
so I have just one quick question before we go. How is the support from government? Are they like really supportive, or they're just letting you do your thing on your own?
For Actors Guild of Nigeria, we have different kinds of support from government. Like recently, we just finished a film for the Nigerian military. and we're going to, of course, launch it very soon. We have had, just like we went to Akwa Ibom to do our election, was a big support from government. For government to support you, you must show that you are serious. You must show something. You must show credibility and all of that. So we're asking our members to understand that this association is for us and all of that. Government is doing the much they can as they understand what you're doing.
All right, we hope to carry on this conversation because this time is not enough, but we have to go right now. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you also for watching. Remember, you can join the conversation on our social media by using the hashtag #TeaTime or tweet at us at +TV Africa. Also subscribe to our YouTube channel at +TV Africa. You can also watch Tea Time on R2 TV and in London on Ben Television. My thank you as always to go to my co-anchors, Ewa Oluwaritu, Ifeoluwa Oshunkeye, and the entire production team. And of course, our studio guests, Manuel Sachinda Koka and Emeka Rulers. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
My name is Elsie Godwin saying thank you for watching and see you later.
This is it for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Buki November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's Tea Time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
Alright, country people, greet on our top this very o'clock when they join us for news on the hour for Plus TV Africa. This is not the 3 MC once I'm given my name, na Promise Nero. This special advisor to the president on media, Oga Femi Adesina. He threw one yarn for his Facebook page inside Abuja say Oga President Muhammadu Buhari on Wednesday for London, he meet with management of Pearson Educational Group for London. And the president media aide, when MBC still post the pictures of the meeting for the page, he said the Minister of Education, Adamu, and the Executive Secretary of the National Universities Commission, NUC, Abubakar Rashid, showed the meeting. People when MBC they still show face now the Nigeria High Commissioner to the UK, Adeshola Oguntade. The National Working Committee, NWC, of the All Progressive Congress, APC, don't support the suspension of the party Shemo for Edo Aslem Ojezwa, say 11 of 16 members of the State Working Committee, they do. For one statement, say the National Publicity Secretary, Lanre Issa-Onilu, signed. The party say the party State Working Committee do what they say they go do after the shukai for the process say lead to the Shemo suspension. As Tekian, he said the NWC objective and course of action had to touchlight what really caused the palaver and bring all the part item together to make the party strong weller. And the party talk person said the wahala when say just happen when say nobody so affect the political development within the party rank for Edo State. The All Progressive Congress APC Governors Forum don't call on the party National Shemo Adams Oshomole make a call for National Executive Council NEC meeting to touchlight the palaver. For 1 year, so say the Oga Patapata Saliu Lukman signed for Abuja on Wednesday. The forum say make Oshomole respect the provision of the party constitution and do meeting to yarn the party palaver. And they say they say they suspend the National Executive Council neck of the party when say suppose they touchlight the matter of the party. And the governor not happy for the NWC as of today and say they don't lost many members because of the appointment for government or suspension. The Edo State chapter of the PDP don't talk matter of Governor Godwin Obaseki again and say tenure na suffer for the people. The Shemo of the PDP for the state, Dan Obi, when be say they yarn for one conference on Wednesday say the governor he don't fail to give leadership to make the people enjoy the betterness of democracy. As the PDP Shifo take yarn, he say make the governor face governance and come out hand from Gbege for the state chapter of the APC. He talks about Obaseki administrate for 3 years don't only bring wahala, and it does stop the people to get something from democracy. The PDP Shifo still Samayanis give Obaseki make a come out hand from the yearly groove where he say they invite people for talk for the name of say he dey mark anniversary, but instead make a channel the money to tackle wahala. The People's Democratic Party PDP don't condemn and reject the hate speech prohibition bill for the National Assembly. When we say that they say they want to give Ogbonge punishment when we say be death by hanging as penalty. They say the party for 1 year, and so we say the National Publicity Secretary Kola Olobodiyan, he do on Wednesday for Abuja say, as much as the PDP no put on for the hate speech under any palaver, they say they see the bill as unconstitutional or democratic and it don't make sense at all. He said the provision of the bill not to carry do innocent Niger people. The talk person say the bill the target official voice of dissent, and it be like say with the opposition they do now they won't follow. And he say Niger already get enough constitutional provision and laws to safeguard better and healthy public hands for space, and say that kind of law no fit see front for Niger. They reject the bill for the Senate for 2018 only for them to reintroduce them again. The candidate of the All Progressive Congress for the March 9 Oyo State Governorship poll, Bayo Adelabu, he said already to go to the Supreme Court for a waka to reclaim a mandate. The Court of Appeal ruled on Monday said the appeal when we say file against the Election Petition Tribunal, when we say they throw in petition, when we say take challenge the Independent National Electoral Commission, as they declare Governor Sheyi Makinde of the People's Democratic Party as the winner of the polls in a follow. One APC candidate on Wednesday talked for his first official yarn for his verified Facebook account say the judgment don't change their hope for both the electoral and judicial process for their march to keep the date with history. He said the appeal court don't settle the tone of righting the wrong as they tell the people of Oyo State to hold the peace and go do their lawful work as the party approach the Supreme Court to validate the victory. Justice Ijoma Ojukwu of the Federal High Court for Abuja on Tuesday give the Economic and Financial Crime Commission until March 2020 to take bring before Minister of Petroleum Resources, Diezani Alison Madueke, come Nigeria. The commission on November 2018 filed 13 count of money against the before minister as a some accused giver say she take $39.7 million and 3.32 billion naira when say she take buy big property them for Abuja, Lagos, and Port Harcourt of Rivers State when say she take the office. When the matter show face before on Tuesday, the judge threatened to strike out the money matter if the anti-Wururugen body no fit bring her come court by March 2020.